the first part, right? So, hey, I'm Wythe. I'm going to be GMing, and this is our first informal, official stream game. Thanks so much for watching, and everyone who's playing, thanks for playing. So let's do quick character intros. So name, pronouns. What's your class? What's your species? What do you look like? And I'm just going to call on people so we keep it moving. Leo, you started us off before. Leo, who are you playing today?
Hello, I am the guy who translated the quick start to Brazilian Portuguese. I'm helping out with the quick starter, with the Kickstarter outreach, and I will be playing a Jalasti Jackal called Direk. They them. I think we leave physical descriptions for later.
Okay. Um, and Aaron, when you say bring levels, you're talking to me, and what
Uh,
levels where?
yeah. Um, the levels of our audio a little high. Yeah.
All right. You
Yeah.
Aaron, do you want to introduce Respland next, Reese?
Yeah. Sure. I am Respawn. My pronouns are she, her, and um, you could call me Reese for short. I'm a futuristic influencer. I guess I could be present time, right? A space influencer, and I have a vodcast called Reese's Pieces that I broadcast on the Quantum Net.
Oh, how do I go back to the grid? Cool. Love that. Sorry, just playing with levels. All right, Reese's Pieces, the influencer, the factor. Jed, who are you playing?
Hi, I'm Jedd. My own pronouns are he, him. But I'm going to play a Shutha Pure named Edelvi. Edelvi's pronouns are it, its. So Edelvi is kind of a robotic, kind of gray, smooth, flat surfaced, humanoid ish person. As a peer, it is kind of a scholar, doctor sort of. It plays a doctor sort of function in the team, but Edelvi in particular has a background as what it calls a techno eulogist. Has had kind of a religious mystical revelation of sorts, and is eager to tell artificial intelligences all about it.
I want to hear more about this revelation. Hopefully, it comes up.
Me too. I know nothing myself, so we'll see how we'll see how it develops.
That's great. And last but not least, Gay, who are you playing today?
Hi, I'm Kay. I'm gonna be playing um a bear, very sexy bear with guinea pig head. Her name is Ik. Um, so she basically retired from being prostitute for a long, long time, and she just wants to be independent and just loves love money. So we'll do everything for money. Yes.
Great. So we have a Gelasti Jackal. We have a sort of religious Shuddha peer. We have a Fleeter Factor who likes sort of fame, and we have, of course, Eek, the mongrel who was an exception to the rule here, was tortured, created into a tremulant, a mind reader by the archive, but who has sort of escaped various past careers and now is a Picaro, an adventurer. Um, I'm gonna say you all are already in the office of your refactor, refactor Graman, and you all know each other somehow. I'll leave that up to you. But the refactor is has brought you here, and you are variously excited or trepidatious because this is an urgent job. This is a rush job that is going to pay a lot of money. And as background, throughout the last week in the canteen, there's been a lot of fervor because a new Goldilocks world has been discovered, and this is relatively rare. So, in the past, in the age of vain stumbling, when humans seemingly first arrived on Spindle about 300 years ago, and the company was founded, many Goldilocks worlds were discovered. They could be tacked to via the Malkovich tunnels, the holes in the wall of the outermost rune blobs of the near bays, the upper part of Spindle. But as time went on, it was discovered that more and more of those Malkovich tunnels went to weirder and weirder places the further down that the company explored the alien station. And eventually it became pretty dangerous, and so people didn't just randomly try to activate Malkovich tunnels and jump through. Nowadays, of course, the company does reward the discovery of Goldilocks worlds, especially inhabited Goldilocks worlds, especially ones with relatively peaceable trading kind of folks, fairly greatly. So a week ago or so, there was a discovery. And since then, there has been a lot of posterage in the canteen, a lot of people putting up signs. Almost all of the signs are either from the afdelling of the fleet, which claims that this is not technically a Goldilocks world, but a Hulk, and thus under its jurisdiction because of the nature of the environs discovered. While the other half seem to be from the afdelling of the Void, your present employers, who claim that this is clearly a Goldilocks world with sapience, with intelligent beings who can trade. Therefore, it is candidate for a minor province. Maybe over time, if they choose to ally themselves with the company more deeply, they can join the major provinces, and then they would be moved to the afdelling of worlds. But for now, they are clearly part of the afdelling of the Void. But of course, the other signs then plastered over those say, no, clearly this is a flying ship of some kind. Yes, it's on a Goldilocks world, but the only people we've met are on a flying object. It is thus a Hulk, afterling of the fleet, and those are pasted over again, and so on and so forth. So there's a sort of smear of like wheat paste of algal paper, of greenish, sort of mint green paper, with variously increasingly large kind of advertisements, and then the numbers go up from standard contract, very easy, to every single day basically doubling the rate. And now it is a job worth 200 guilders as the base pay on top of whatever your rank would earn you. So your characters are all 4th level, so you would be getting more money anyway. So it's 200 bonus each on top of the base rate. And that is, an unheard of amount for what seems to be a very easy job. It's a Goldilocks world, and it does not seem to be currently at war or under threat of alien invasion or anything like that. So you have been asked to meet in the refactor's office and basically find out how you can serve the afdelling of the Void. Real quickly, I'm going to go with whoever says it first is canonical. How do you all know each other? Are you friends? Are you frenemies? Have you worked together before? Is this like your 4th time out?
I probably be solo because I just want more money to I'm clearly like being a sugar mama for someone, so I need more money.
Does Zeke have like a lot of like bling and stuff on, like adornments on her suit and stuff?
No.
Isn't ostentatious about it.
I think Eek just wears a grass skirt, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Let me try to find my picture.
But you do know everyone already. So how do you know each other? Are you have you worked together, or are you sort of familiar with each other by reputation, perhaps?
I think all probably.
Oh, I can't hear you at all, Aaron. Can't hear you.
Very quiet.
Yeah, I don't know if you might have turned your mic down way too low. Gotta get it back up.
How about now?
Yeah, no.
More would be good, but
Okay. Now?
Yeah.
How about that? Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think that whether or not you like it, you've probably all seen or heard my various like media offerings, because I'm everywhere.
I'm starting to imagine that each of us got in touch with the refactor on an individual basis, and then the refactor's like, enough people, I'll just bunch them together.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Maybe you also all have heard, and you all have opinions about the podcast that your the person now in charge
I
of
think
this group, creates.
I would have wound up in this job because I started trying to find out what Reese was doing. I arrived from that one job where I was a stowaway, and cool. I did well enough in that. I pulled my weight and I saved the venture. And I technically have a void mining job, but I don't have a team. So I'm like, okay, who the hell can I tag along? And I see that the lady who's famous is going to the thing that seems to pay money. And on the way in, she's met by this small, creepy, cute, red-eyed, albino, pointy teeth salamander person who walks a little weird. Who's who's just like, is this here? Do I get the job in here? Hello, Nick.
Ah, great.
Yep. Yeah.
So let's do intros one at a time. So Raceblond and Dirk, right?
Dirk.
Dirk are now in the office of Refactor Kraman. Who enters next?
I'll enter next. Edelvi walks in, taking like Edelvi walks with really short steps, short strides. Very tall, skinny kind of person. Just arms always kind of clasped in front of their chest, and walks in and greets. Sees Reese. Is it Reese?
Either one is fine.
Sees Reese and is like, "Oh, you must be the host of that show that I've heard so much about.
Yeah.
But it was quite intelligent for biotic life form."
Quite informative for new arrivals.
And so that leaves, I guess, Eek, who is a bear, a large adult bear-sized bear human with a guinea pig's head, and apparently not even a full Enviro suit. Granted, this is Goldilocks world; it has Terran Atmo, so you don't really need your suits. But yeah, she enters next, and you are assembled.
Yeah, I walked there and then I saw a group of people and with the Reese's face looks familiar from social online. So I just can't be okay with it because I have to be the most sexy person like in the environment in general. So I was like, hey girl, what's up? I
I
know
put my
you.
arm around Eek and I'm going for a selfie, and like we both like make a face.
I was like, hey girl, can we be friends?
Yeah.
What you up to? Take a look.
So at that, your refactor cuts you all off and is really, not engaged in this. She wants to get moving immediately. Refactor Kraman is a little older now. She's very short hair and the face tattoos of a fleeter. And she actually, part of her face was injured and replaced with what looks like essentially liquid. It's like part of her face was sort of made of water. It's like an aquarium shape. And it has some wires and whatnot, sort of an archival project of some kind or another. And she looks at all of you and yeah, looks at the dossiers on you, from the Afdeling of the Archaeon, it keeps tabs on everyone, and says, essentially, you will have to do because this is an urgent matter. I know at least you, and she points at Reese, from your reputation, and I know you, and she points at Direk, because I would very much like someone who can get something for me by whatever means necessary. So that is the job on offer today. You are to travel to a new world I'm sure you've heard about. The name is still being decided because, of course, different cultures will have different names, and so which name the company decides to use is now a matter, unlike 300 years ago, now it is a political matter. Everyone has to be appropriate about what we call a new rock, if it is indeed a rock. But for now, there's something extremely important that I need you to retrieve. This is a classified mission. If you want to take it and do the, get the money, then I cannot tell you more before you sign the contract blind. It is not considered hazardous, but it does pay 200 guilders extra apiece simply for urgency. And she, at that point, pushes a piece of paper toward Reese and then looks, expects you to get everyone else to sign it.
Are we all good for this, everyone?
Sounds like a good fit. Got sticky fingers.
Everyone else hear Aaron? Can't hear Aaron.
Oh no.
I can hear Aaron.
I hear him fine.
I don't know, maybe a local user volume thing.
Nothing's all the way up on mine.
My levels are good on my end.
I am not sure how to fix that. I can hear Aaron. I think I can hear all
Seems
of
like
you.
everyone else can hear Aaron.
Maybe we can do. Maybe that can be sorted as we play. Do we think, or do we want to
Sure.
pause?
Maybe I just wasn't talking very loud. I was trying to not blow out the sound on anyone. Is that any better, Jedd?
Well, if it's me, maybe I can disconnect and reconnect.
Yeah, it might be a local setting thing. I'm not sure because I think we can all hear Aaron. So
Just a second.
I don't know. This the audio.
Oh wait, I wonder if he had me muted on his end because
Yeah,
I think you can
that's what
do
I'm
that.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you all sign the contract.
Yeah, I take a bite at the edge where I was supposed to sign just.
Well, you still have to sign. Okay. And Cromman at that point takes the contract back, stows it immediately, and says, "Good. You will know that there has been a traitor. There is a fleeter by the name of Tyrus. Tyrus has something that we need back. And the we here is clearly this is the Afdeling of the Void, in charge of all the little Earths that are not Earth and are not the major provinces. You will locate the traitor Tyrus Valtarang and get back the sample of something. It is a liquid. It is worth potentially a good amount of money if we can figure out how to use it. That is what the archivists are for. It is in a brushed metal container that is roughly pill-shaped with a stopper and a handle made of mycelial leather so it can be carried or attached. You will know it. There will not be others. And while you may be able to get other samples, this is a pure sample. We want whatever Tyrus we believe accomplished within the last few days. But Tyrus did not come back, and the rest of Tyrus's crew reports that Tyrus, betrayed them, as it were, and would not give over the sample. We are sending you as essentially a cleanup crew to get the sample back. We do not care if Tyrus lives or Tyrus dies. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Well, with that, I will give you the TAC map from the archive. This is a perfectly breathable, perfectly pressurized world. We do not know yet what to call the world, so we're just calling it New World 1, since it's been a while since we had the New World. And the city you are going to is actually elevated quite far above New World 1. So you will be hundreds of feet up, not so high that you'll have to worry again about atmosphere, but very, very high up by ordinary standards from, I guess, their world sea level. It seems modest, temperate, rather a nice world, like a Kalayat kind of a place. And you will be in a city which is controlled by some species of post-human sapiens which are very short, and the only other thing that the one team to have gone and come back reports, annoying. So that is your one warning. Don't piss them all off, etc., ruin potential trade deals, but go, get the sample, come back, have fun. You don't actually have to have fun. Just bring the sample back.
Oh, we're gonna have fun.
Don't tell me about the fun. Just get the sample back and tell me the disposition of Tyrus Valtarang when you find him. Is that clear? Does anyone have any questions?
Yes. Can you give us a brief description, physical description of this, I'm assuming, biotic life form, Tyrus?
Oh yes, Tyrus is a youngish, 30 Terrasol-ish years old fleeter, um, known for, as Direk has said, sticky fingers, and he's tallish, has moppish hair, and speaks in a funny drawl, and will be one of the only people speaking Spin on the city you're in. Oh, that's the other thing. The archive has already processed the witness's report from the first venture and created for you. And she fishes around her desk and comes up with what looks like kind of like lips grown out of mushroom mycelium and wire, and it's kind of breathing a little, and it's got like a little bit of almost like a saliva that looks a little bit like sort of yellowish, like kind of battery acid, which she sort of carefully daubs off. And she places that in sort of a bend, very very cheap plastic kind of bubble, like that's not quite formed right. It's like if someone used like 3D printer scraps and tried to make like a fishbowl, and then attaches a kind of strap, and then hands it to whoever looks most eager to go on this venture, which might be Direk.
He is eyeing the thing curiously, for sure.
Well, here you are. The archivist already translated the Inuit autochthonous sapiens language, and this will allow you to speak with them. There are some others. There's definitely a cohort of humans. There are also some post-humans who are essentially gracile and photosynthetic. We see this occasionally. And we call these, the first group suggested calling them basil elves. So I'm going to call them basil elves, but I'm sure they have a name for themselves. Most of the inhabitants are short, greenish, pointy-eared, extremely gracile. They have fangs, and they are, it just says here, annoying. So yes, there'll be humans, basil elves, and the annoying things which someone has suggested calling Hublins, which is not a term I am familiar with, but perhaps is again coming from the autochthonous language, to be named. Any other questions? You get one more question, then you have to leave the room and go on the venture to get the money. It's urgent.
Can we get a selfie?
That's your last question?
Yes, so.
Big group picture. Come on, everybody, come in. Come on.
Refactor Kraman, sighs and then stands. She's a real military figure, and turns the good side of her face, which is the mostly water side, toward the photographic device. What are you capturing the selfie with?
So I have it's a very retro DSLR, but it has a little attachment on the side of it that hooks it up to kind of broadcasting it up across the whole universe to whoever's following. And it snaps a nice pic. It has a little selfie mount, so I can like hold the rod up. Yeah.
I try to shrink out of the frame as if my spine was compressible, and you just get like from here up with the little red eyes, and as soon as the flash goes off, Derek just.
Yeah. Edelweiss is just kind of in the background, like kind of creepily lit, because of the distance from them.
Nice. So you're all in the shot, or not, and that the refactor suggests that you all leave. You have the TAC map. There will be a banshee there to open the stiffworks for you, and the only issue is getting back. None of you are listed as banshees, so she suggests that the same banshee will just go through and essentially wait and hang out and eat snacks until you're ready to come back, unless anyone has an alternative plan.
No,
Sounds great.
Okay. So, are you doing anything else before you head out to this new potential minor province?
We were told it was basically Goldilocks. Like we don't need a special breather or anything.
You have
Presumably.
you have a 1-page kind of Wikipedia article about this new potential minor province. So if you want to
Okay.
read it, it's with your copy of the contract, and it
Yeah,
says a little bit.
I'll read through it. Is there anything? Do you need to roll for this?
No, just read
Okay.
it. It is it's listed as the new potential minor province of the name of the city which you are going to. There's a whole world below the city, but you are going to the one place that has a Stiffworks. The
Ah,
Stiffworks is late Tefnian. It is a shard spire, and you don't have much to go on. You have these like 1-sentence descriptions of the various cohorts of sapient beings that live in the city. The city is several hundred feet above the ground, above sort of a temperate forest, farmland, rivers, kind of region. And it is held aloft by means that are redacted. It's like one word has been redacted. However, there are lots of airships coming and going, so there's sort of leathery blimps that come and go, and that is indicated. That is clear. It also says that clearly there is a there's a fuel source, and the fuel source does produce a kind of smog. So there's a sort of violet, gritty buildup everywhere due to the various uses of the Goblin's fuel. So that is something that it will not. It's not shouldn't cause acute problems, but is probably not good for you to breathe long term. But technically, no, you don't need envirosuits. Um, it also says the food is bad. There's some ratings, and says that you can barter for other food. The currency situation is very wild. It doesn't seem like a real state rules here. There's some sort of sentences that are marked as like stubs. They need to be expanded. So you get a sense of the place, but not much. It's cramped, highly cosmopolitan, and it is not completely clear who is in charge, other than there are various factions of Koblins.
Sounds great.
Elias just like sees you reading the dossier and just kind of hovering over your shoulder and peering down with just their blank slate face.
I'm only like sort of reading it. I'm also kind of like trying to like arrange it on the desk so that it looks like a good angle to get a picture of it. And when I see you looking over it, I'll like offer. Would you like to look? This is great reading.
Yes, I'm already looking. Thank you. I like to use eyes a lot to describe expressions. That's a shoot that I have no eyes, so we'll see how I do.
Right. You just can look at a thing or not look at a thing. So, do you all head to the it's a Farbase Malkovich tunnel, so it's a little bit below inhabited Spindle, but not terribly far. And unless you want to do anything else on Spindle, we can just cut there.
Yeah, good to go.
Okay. In that case, you find yourself in the presence of a young, lanky Waiton. He was dark gray with mottled purple chitin. And they are kind of leaning against the Malkovich tunnel, looking almost like performatively bored, playing a game that more or less requires 4 thumbs to play. So it's like it's like an Atari-style shooter, but you would be hopelessly outgunned against the Space Invaders crabs if you did not have 4 thumbs. And they kind of look up and are like, ready to go? And of course, as a Waiton, they're sort of whistling through their spiracles in perfect human accented spin.
Let's go.
I do think so.
Okay.
This is one of those that make you throw up.
Only one way to find out, but no. First group said no.
It's not nice to be in the middle of the vomit when you breathe through your skin.
Touche, buddy. Their name, by the way, is Seven Lake Ranter, and or SLR. SLR is ready to go whenever you are. They open the Stiffworks. They place maybe drum a couple of hands, and then use one hand to actually communicate with Spindle, with the alien AI of the station, performing some sort of quantum cryptographic maths in their head that unlocks something invisible in the machinery, the completely MacGuffin, enigmatic technology of Spindle. And now, although it looks exactly the same to you, SLR assures you that if you crawl through that Malkovich tunnel, you will not become stuck in the darkness as it tapers toward a very narrow point, but you will tip out into a late Tefnian shard spire. So sort of a phone booth of impregnable red steel somewhere on Grook Jedd.
Go right in. This is exciting.
Edelweiss like, I will go last so as to avoid any vomit situations.
I'll
Okay.
follow my girl.
Come on, girl, let's go. Two sexy void fighters.
Alright. Derek goes third, and they just put their arms back and push down their detachable collarbones and slither down.
Great.
Amazing.
Cats have detached collarbones.
I didn't know.
It's just that my kid's also slimy.
No, I think it's canonical now. Detached collarbones. You all go through, followed by Seven Lake Ranter, and you crawl through the darkness. If you don't have your suits, then it does become completely dark. I mean, especially with butts blocking any light source from behind, and the dark stone of Spindle generally is pretty dark unless someone is there to tell the room blob to light itself from the top a little bit. And so as you crawl, it just feels like you are in a cave and can't go any further. And then all of a sudden, you feel yourself sort of rushing to a standing position, even though you haven't actually moved. But instead of crawling down, you are crawling standing up. So you sort of do an awkward stumble because you're sort of on your knees. And you walk through a edifice of red stone in what looks like not a natural cavern, but like more like a subway work area, like it's a cavern underneath something that was kind of carved out, and half of it is finished and some of it isn't. Part of it looks pretty jagged, like blown apart, and some of it looks reinforced with metal. And you are in a sort of big underground-looking room. Behind you is a very small, by their standards, late Tefnian shard spire. And you are on a Goldilocks world. Actually, you're flying above Goldilocks world, but you wouldn't necessarily see that from where you are. If you have never been on a Goldilocks world, you probably feel a little out of sorts, but I think probably most of your characters have. You're 4th level, right?
That's reasonable.
May or may not remember it well. Great. So you know where you are ish, and or rather, all you were told is the Stiffworks is under the center of the city. And indeed, you can see behind you, it looks like there's like work going on. There's like pickaxes and stuff kind of around. And in front of you there's clearly a tunnel that goes forward and sort of curves around.
There's work going on. Are we alone, or are there others in the vicinity?
Roll a d6. That's one of my favorite questions.
6.
Do you want to be alone, or do you want to be with friendly locals?
Edelweiss is indifferent.
Then you believe you are alone, and choose a direction, and I'll tell you what happens.
So are we in the middle? Does the tunnel go both ways from where we are, or are we at one end of the tunnel?
It's kind of one end of the tunnel, I should say. Yeah, if you move forward, I will tell you. You were not actually alone, but
Edelweiss suggests, well, only one way to go, I suppose.
Okay. You walk forward in the darkness. The tunnel's pretty small, rectangular, a little more regular, and you hear someone sort of rushing ahead. Like as you move, they move ahead, and they're maybe trying to be sneaky, but aren't incredibly sneaky.
I would like to use my electrical sense to have an idea of where the lines of power of this place go. I don't know if the my brain is defaulting to the Portuguese thing. What the hell? If the Stiffworks is powered by anything, or if it runs on an invisible energy source, but I would like to know where the energy goes.
Oh, sure.
Hmm.
That's a great question. Do you want to roll reason to just kind of look around and try to understand technically what's going on? I don't. I don't think electrical sense would necessarily help you here, but if you roll reason and get a 6 or higher, I'll just tell you what's in the room.
All right, hang on. Let me check how this particular bot goes. It's all right. Found it.
In fact, I'm gonna say it's 5 or higher, because yeah, this is there's nothing
Right.
here
My
that's
reason is a D6.
aha.
They should have gone.
It should have. Oh, I
I'm
think
pretty sure that.
now if you do, sorry, if you do just the exclamation point T6, or I think it changed. Nope.
All right. I saw this formatting up. There we go. Exclamation D6.
There you
Nice.
go. You are not sure how late Tefnian shard spires work, other than nanotech, whatever that means. If somebody else wants to give it a go or has particular training, the Banshee probably knows more about how shard spires work. They're technically able to open this one too. They're just going to hang out here the entire time. They have a pistol and a box full of lunches. And if they run out of lunches, they will have to go get more lunches and come back. They only eat
Uh,
lunches in the dark.
I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Got D8 reason. There's 7.
Great. You can see that there are little lanterns that are they're sort of candle-like in their intensity, and there's kind of a lot of them at regular intervals, and they seem to be burning some sort of neutral liquid fuel, and they get, the flame they give off is a little bit tinged with sort of violet smoke, sort of dark violet smoke. There are actually some electrical wires around, but nothing is connected to anything. It looks like someone is contemplating putting them in, so there's just sort of copper wiring around. It looks like this whole area is just a mix of different design intentions the more you look. But yeah, I mean, there isn't like a grid. The Shard Spire works mysteriously. It just needs basically atmosphere for the nanites to vampirize. So the Shard Spire doesn't really need any fuel as long as it's not in the depths of the interstellar void. It can do its thing, work as a door. Do you want to keep going down the tunnel?
Oh, I was gonna say Edelvi when it hears the movement up ahead, just kind of shouts, "Hello, hello down there."
You hear a very soft "Nobody here." I mean, sorry, I'm not gonna do that the Gollum voice. I'm really I promise. You hear a very soft "Nobody here." Oh wait, I shouldn't have said that.
Well, I suppose nobody is here.
I'm
Nobody.
walking. Go
It's
ahead.
very nice to meet you, nobody. And I start walking forward.
In the darkness emerges a shadow, making a sort of universal aw shucks hand motion. And I guess you would also only understand that, so you would be hearing random sounding syllables that would be translated by Derek, by the sort of
Operating the machine.
right, vaguely Rubik's Cube sized lips organism machine that has been instructed with the to date complete codex as of the last week of research of Choblin words. So whatever you say, they respond in a language you don't understand, and then from behind you, you hear "Nobody here." I shouldn't have said that. So yeah, as you walk forward, they sort of gesture and they're like, "Well, the jig is up." And clearly, you're looking at what looks like a very diminutive, perhaps even juvenile, post-human sapient with sort of bluish greenish sallow skin. Is extremely thin with sort of very bony joints. And a very long face with very sharp, many small sharp teeth, and very large pointed ears that curl up. And they're wearing sort of clothes similar to what you'd see on Spindle. So a lot of sort of bits of leather. These don't look mycelial, but essentially, kind of leather coveralls. They have lots of little tools. Most of the tools look badly made. They're sort of just bits of metal that have been hacked into kind of a shape or bent.
Yeah, so Edelweiss is like, yes, hello, nobody you said was your name.
No, no, that's not what I said. That's not what I said, buddy. Get it straight. And they introduce themselves as Marganthank, and Marganthank, or that is the sound that comes up out of Derek's lips box. Uh,
Yeah, I'm just holding it. Behold, the world speaker.
yeah, close
Kiss
enough.
Peter Gabriel's in your eyes.
Hmm?
Yeah, what the box
What?
said. Marganthank.
Morgenthink, yes, well, nice to meet you. We are looking for a fellow. I don't suppose you could help us out. This sort of looks like a male version of our friend here. Uh, Points to Reese. And, and taller than you, and goes by the name of Tyrus.
Whoa. It sounds like you're looking for information. And information is something that could be worth something. It could have value. And around these parts, I don't know how they do it where you're from, bud, but around here, stuff that's worth stuff is worth stuff. Ergo, what are you going to give me for this information?
I step in and say, "Hi, I'm Reese. It is so great to meet you, and I would love to wheel and deal with you here. Let's talk business. What can I get? We need to know where Tyrus is. Let's find him together. How can we do this?
Uh, well, but what do you have? Typically, one makes an opening entree.
What I have is an opportunity for you, and I'm gonna roll. Would it be like I'm sorry, like charm persuade, charm control?
Yeah. Roll charm.
Okay.
Looks like
Wow,
you got a
I
natural
rolled
one.
so bad.
Before you can start saying anything, you feel a very swift kick, and you take 1 point of damage as your shin is booted noticeably by the reinforced tip of Marganthank's right boot. And Marganthank throws a wrench at you, but it sort of flies past, and they're running down the hall.
Does DR reply to this?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go.
Running down the hall.
Let's go find our new friend.
Away from you, away from the Stiffworks.
Did I try to outrun this person and just slide in the direction of their feet so that they tumble over me and crash down?
Sure, roll movement.
Well, as soon as that kick happens, Dick just moves a little bit weirdly, gets closer to them, and kind of forgetting the box, goes, "Don't damage company assets, dipshit!" Movement or fight?
Uh, are you trying to actually hurt Marganthank or just not, just like outrun them and do a cool thing?
I would like to make them trip over. I don't want to deal damage. I just want to break the fall so that we can all stand around.
I'd say roll movement.
Cool.
This is a. Oh, you also.
God damn it.
We are on fire today.
This might be a dice
Oh, man.
dice parser issue. The other one does it. The other one's much more complicated now. It used to be very simple. Yeah, no, Marganthank is very fast.
The color bounce back in.
Marganthank probably takes the opportunity to try to grab whatever you have on you. Probably tries to grab the box. And you might now be, you might be looking at a situation where you lose your only means of communicating. So,
I think I would have left the box if I'm going to sprint and try to drop the guy.
oh, okay. Well, then what's something small on you? And you're gonna have to roll 8 or better on movement to not lose whatever it is. And then who
Oh,
has the
no.
box? Keep track of the lips box so we can know who understands
Sure.
the goblins.
I think Edelweiss will pick up the box.
Great.
Alright, I have a basic calm on me.
Okay. Roll movement.
Movement again?
You got to get an 8 or higher.
Can I add the grit in this? Because I don't want to lose
You
stuff.
can always burn 3, 6, or 9 grit for +3, +3.
Yeah, but like in the rolling thing, I can just go exclamation D12 plus 3.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's a 7. So technically a fail. I'm gonna say more like a stalemate. Like maybe you are running alongside Marganthank, who has the comm in his hand, but you're like right next to him. And again, he's tiny. He's a little less than a meter tall. And as you're running out of corridor rapidly. I mean, this tunnel, it kind of curves around this kind of boxy, low tunnel, curves, and then clearly enters this sort of underground arcade with big steps up, and you can see sunlight reaching through. Um, and there are a couple of other goblins around. They all have sort of dark leather workers' caps and goggles. They are variously installing things or taking things out that have already been installed. And they sort of all turn and look at you. But there's sort of lots more pipes here and more of that proto-electrical wire setup. They're
Uh,
very curious, but no one intervenes as you rush past.
hmm. Yeah, I don't
Well,
think I want to make the juvenile fall on their teeth in front of the others who outnumber us.
That's one way of interpreting it.
what are they all doing in this room? All of the other gnomes.
Um, these are there's 3 of them, and they're about a meter tall each, and they have greenish skin with almost no blue tint. So it's some as they get older, they sort of grays out a bit, but it loses any blue spectrum.
Hmm.
And they are in, like I said, mostly sort of leather work clothes, and they have more functional, nicer tools, and they are 2 of them are installing some system. One of them seems to be undoing whatever the other 2 are doing, and they occasionally look at each other with a little bit of a huff. But there's clearly a lot of sort of overlapping metal enforcements being added into this kind of rock hallway. Some of which seems to do with maybe moving electricity, maybe some of it looks like it might move water one day. A lot of it is just holding stuff up. Um,
Hmm.
you're only there for a split second. You probably wouldn't know all that. Um, what is everyone doing? Eek, what are you doing? You're just taking the scene in?
Um, I think I'm gonna try to talk to those 3 little guys, right? Are they known, right?
They're goblins. They are not gnomes.
Okay. Oh, okay.
The only gnomes you
Yeah.
know are very dangerous. So
Huh?
the only gnomes in Stillfleet are planet mining husk gnomes who are sort of little cyborgs. These just look
Yeah.
like small, skinny green humans.
Okay. I'm gonna walk to them and then try to chat. Like, hey guys, what are you guys up to?
Well, again, you hear the voice. You hear them respond, and then it is interpreted behind you, and so it's like a weird loop. Roll charm.
Edelweiss is just kind of like now on high alert, trying to keep track of who opens their mouth to speak and trying to be as close as possible for convenience.
I'm gonna use bark to add 3 to Eek's roll.
Great. Well, then she gets a 10, and they got a natural 1. So the 3 of them just rush over, and one of them, I think, tentatively like hugs Eek's leg. And the others are just like, wow. And so you hear this translation like, wow, never seen one like that. I've seen hairy humans, but this is something else. And they look at each other and they're like, yeah, I don't know what the hell kind of human this is, but it's got the cutest little head I've ever seen, little guy. Look at its little head. Hey, what are you doing down here? Did you come through the weird door thing that we found? We didn't find it. We found it. We didn't find it. Shut up.
Yeah, we came from that door. But it's like, I really want to know what you guys are up to, like around here doing thing.
Oh, sure. We'll tell you all about it. Yeah, we should start charging admission for the door thing. We can't charge admission. The shops can charge admission. Who do you think we is in this situation? Oh, I thought you meant you and me. Buddy. And then the other one keeps trying to get a word in, and they kind of push the other one back, who's a little older. Um, and they tell you that they are here just doing routine routine repairs, basically, in prep for a big upgrade that is, above their pay grade. They don't know what the big upgrade is, but they know that now that this tunnel in the core of the city leads to something important, they just need to make sure that there isn't a collapse, essentially, that the digging through the heart of the city doesn't cause the ceiling to cave in. So they're inspecting it and then repairing some pipes that are going to contain copper wires for some purpose.
Uh, and who are you guys working for?
We
Just
work
out
for
of curiosity.
the sharps. They're kind of the they look at each other and they're kind of like well, they like help out with things. They like make things happen. They're like like somebody's got to like plan stuff and then make other people do it at the point of a blade. Those kind of like government
Oh,
kind of people.
government. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
they make anyway. Yeah, it's a little complicated. It's more. We could draw you a diagram. It's not that important. But yeah, you want to talk to the sharps if you knew, probably, just to be sure.
and when they are
What's that? What was your question?
where the shops are. What if you want to talk to them? I mean,
Um,
I like to be friend with everyone, so
they look the old person speaks up and says that you shouldn't talk to the shops. You should talk to the Gurkjeet Improvement Guild, on whose behalf I am here improving, well, unimproving some of the things that the shops want to do. This is such a silly waste of city resources putting in a intruder alert system. We should use this copper for some better purpose. And then they immediately start yelling at the older Koblin, and there's kind of a fracas. But you get the sense that it will be very, very easy to find the sharps. That they essentially are some faction that serves as more or less the gendarmes of the city. Um,
Hmm.
None of them, by the way. So I don't know if you all let Margan Think go. Margan Think ran away with the comm, but I have a feeling maybe Dirk would not let that happen. So while Eek is having this conversation, Dirk, are you still chasing the younger one who stole your comm?
They actually managed to yank it out there. They got it out, but I was still kind of in the same pace.
Yeah, you're right next to them. They have the comm in their hand, and meanwhile, Eek is walks over and is talking to these three guys working. It looks like Morgan Thank's gonna run up into the city and toward the sunlight, up these winding stairs.
Well, I can do stuff about that. Let me check how the power goes real quick. All right, I will try to take my stuff back. Since they got it, I am going to re-steal it with the class power.
Great.
Let
As,
me.
as Derek runs past, Edelweiss like, I'll be able to understand them in this. Okay.
Yeah, you just hear the comment about popping a collarbone back, and you don't know where that came from. Yeah, that's how much grit goes away.
Okay.
And now it's a move check plus my level. So
Great. You expertly you can counter steal something from Margan Think if you want. I don't know that Margan Think has that much of interest. Maybe there's a hidden, um, you know, sort of like a halloumi, like a cheese sandwich in a pocket, and you can take your comm and that sandwich if you want.
the goal was re-yanking the thing. They got it out of my hand. I was like, "Out, no!"
Yeah,
Grab it back,
you got
do and turn around and just hiss at them in return because I know it'll be out of my depth if I just chase this person out into the city.
it. Well,
So I will return out of sorts and dispirited.
all right.
I'd like to.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, can I talk with the whole ones that are around us? I would like to say, hey all, we're doing this really great new campaign here. It's called Find Tyrus. Do you guys know anybody named Tyrus? We're trying to find everybody that named Tyrus that we can find.
Uh,
I will make another charm roll
yeah,
for
roll
this.
charm. Unless you give them something for this information, you need to roll charm.
I have like charm is my best skill. I shouldn't be failing these rolls. Oh my god! Oh wait, no,
That might be
that wasn't
why.
my roll.
Oh yeah, you did the roll thing, and you gotta. I think you gotta do slash.
D12
They
plus.
changed dice maiden, so if you want to do it,
There we go. Oh my god, it's still a 5 though.
Well, they only got a
Okay.
3, so they look at you, and it's a 6 total. 5 plus 1.
Okay.
They look at you and are a little bit, confused at first because again the sound is coming from over where Edelweiss is, who's I don't know how close Edelweiss is to all of you, but is maybe trying to triangulate so like everyone can hear.
Yeah.
But
I'm
yeah,
getting closer. I'm getting closer. Okay. I'm here.
yeah, they're like, oh, okay, yeah. Do we know Tyrus? I'm gonna roll for it. It is extremely unlikely that any one person. Yeah, they have no idea, but
Okay.
they do, and they take mild offense for some reason. Maybe it has to do with again the politics of like social interactions here, and you didn't really lead with like a trade or any information of your own. But they do say, again, if you want help, you need to talk to one of the bosses, and there's various conflicting kinds of bosses you're learning. There's at least there's many groups of goblins that have different ideas about the city. They represent 2 of those groups, but there are others as well. One of those groups surely will know who Tyrus is. They don't.
I snap a selfie with them, and then a little like small tiny printout pops out of a little device on my hip, and I hand it to them, and then I sign it, and then it's like, thank you.
um, yeah, they're completely nonplussed. One of them will immediately try to roll sort of what looks like cooked spinach into it and then light it on fire and smoke it, unless you stop them. And they might actually in turn give you something. They might give you like a nail. Like, oh,
Cool.
okay, here you go. Here's a small object. At this point, do you all want to go out of this sort of offshoot tunnel in the center of the city?
No,
Also,
I kind of like the tunnel. I feel like I could make a home here in this tunnel.
Margan Think is not actually running away now. Margan Think I think is still watching. Like from like as soon as he loses control of the comm, just goes up the stairs a bit to sort of the limits, and then is kind of peering around down at you all. Trying to keep eyes on you.
I just show them my teeth and try to make them look pointier than their teeth. Just the black, jagged little things, and I just go. Didn't like that one. That one bit.
As
It's
we
toothy.
as we move up the stairs, I kind of hurry up and hustle and so I can get next to Reese and so. What are all the bosses that we've heard about so far?
You've heard about 2 groups. You've heard about essentially a warrior caste of some kind, the Sharps, and you've heard of the Improvement Guild, which seems to be concerned with best use of resources, sort of utilitarian vibes from the very brief argumentative description you got from the 3 workers. The Sharps seem to be in charge of defense, essentially, and they seemed to want to do something else with, a system of sort of, electricity.
Was it clear
You know
which
there
other
are
groups would
others.
be bigger?
I'm sorry, what was that, Aaron?
Was it clear which of the groups would be bigger or like more powerful?
Yeah, I mean, you were pretty much told that the Sharps are the power you need to deal with, according to
Okay.
the 3 people you've talked to so far.
Okay. Yeah, I want to go topside. Go up those stairs.
Okay. Um, does everyone go up? Do you want to just kind of casually saunter, watching Margan Thing kind of reverse follow you, sometimes pretending not to, sometimes pretty obviously, like maybe turning around, you know, wiggling a butt, or just kind of maybe hissing at Direk. you emerge into what seems like the middle of a crowded city, and it gives you some vibes that are more similar to Terra or the more developed cities of Kalayat, at the same time that it is really falling apart. So it is kind of more
Hmm.
early modern. You might use the descriptor diesel punk, um, more than it is medieval, like many of the province worlds where human cohorts have existed for hundreds of years without contact with Terra, farming and sort of living more or less a feudal existence, able to mine ore, but not really possessing any of the the technologies that the company prides itself on sort of reconstructing. These Koblins seem to have, they've figured out a lot. They figured out dirigibles, and there are above you lots of little leathery blimps that have little kind of rickety wooden wings with sort of leather stretched that direct them. But they seem to float. There's also a lot of violet smog kind of wreathing out of things. And the buildings tend to be tall and narrow, and have little windows that are kind of caked over with soot. The ground is made variously of just random seeming rocks. Sometimes there's bits of mud. Some areas have been cobblestoned over, and then sometimes there's just like drops, and someone has created a kind of rope bridge. So you have to be really careful, even in the heart of the city. Although the heart is the most rocky, so it's pretty solid around the couple blocks around you. But you can see off to like a couple blocks down, the street just like ends, and then kind of resumes later. And presumably, if you just dropped off, you would fall hundreds and hundreds of feet. And so it gives you like a little bit of a vertiginous feel. It's a little bit weird. Almost everyone around you is rushing around in small groups. Almost no one is alone, and they all have fairly practical clothing, and they are almost all Koblins. You would see here and there a human, and you might see some of those gracile photosynthetic kind of green-skinned humans that were mentioned earlier. And if you are not trying to hide, then everyone looks at you basically. And probably several Koblins come over and ask in a language that you only understand through the box that one of you is carrying. Hey, where'd you come from? Hey, what are you doing? Hey, do you like nails? Do you have better nails? Hey,
I hand them a nail. I hand them.
Yeah.
one nail, yeah. Oh, great. They hand you. They break off like half of what looks like basically like an empanada or like pupusa, and hand you half. And it's filled. It looks like it is sort of like deep fried lettuce, maybe. With like some spices. And they are all just kind of talking and hanging out. A bigger and bigger crowd is gathering if you just stand there. From like
How
two to
is
four.
the voice box handling multiple simultaneous voices?
Yep.
Annoyingly, sort of like we, it has trouble like Discord sometimes with like different inputs, and so you're getting maybe like gibberish, like parts of sentences chopped up and cut and pasted together.
So
Yeah,
bad.
Edelweiss just like, sorry, one at a time, one at a time. Yes, you there. No, you. Okay, how about we raise our hands if we want to? Okay, never mind. Okay.
And just as you're explaining this, you hear kathunk kathunk, and from around this little sort of sharp peaked, deep blue painted building to your left comes this kind of awkward like swinging tripod device, on which is standing a Koblin with sort of black leather, what looks like a almost like a pilot jacket and goggles. Who has clearly it looks like maybe a crossbow spear gun kind of instrument, and they're sort of waving it around, and all of the other Koblins around you who are just ordinary workers are just kind of rushing away. And this tripod thing kathunks towards you, and this person yells down like, "Hey, who are you?"
I'm frightening. I shrink a little bit and my eyes go.
I'm snapping a picture of my little empanada piece, and then I'm eating it.
It's pretty good.
Hashtag food tourism.
This person announces, and they have like a badge with a symbol of some kind. They announce, and the translator kind of works through it. Their name is Mirfik, and they are one of the sharps. And Mirfik is making a preemptive. It's not. It's translated as like a citizen's arrest, but it's more like a citizen's like inquiry. And they want to know, what you're doing, Groot. How did you get here? Did you register your dirigible? All unregistered dirigibles are subject to search, seizure, and destruction by the sharps. And it's just now like listing off. She's just listing like cool stuff that might happen uh, to your dirigible.
I look at the talker and wait.
I'm gonna introduce myself to them. Only one person, right? To that shop.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
She's like on top of a big, like weird kind of tripod, very primitive kind of robotic walking thing that just makes her like taller.
How tall?
Like taller than a human, not by a ton, but like for so many, 3 times the size of a Hoblin.
same height as Eek.
Yeah, sure. Let's say that.
Okay, so
Okay.
I was just like, hey, I came from another town looking for my lost, long gone family. That name. Hold on. What's the name? What's the name?
Tyrus?
Yes.
You
You happen to know anyone that name?
So once again, do you give this person anything, or you just ask randomly, "Hey, help me with my thing that I
Random,
care about"?
random.
I offer them some gunch,
Uh,
but I
First enough information. For
but I
information.
describe it as like a new herbal cleansing product that's going to give them like lots of energy.
Great. Then I would say you don't have to roll then. Although they are trying to, basically they to clarify, they're asking you a very specific question. Where did you park? Like, where is your airship? Where did you park your airship? So if you don't answer them, they're going to be pretty furious. But they like that you try to give them drugs. She likes, I should say. It's one person. She likes that. But
I join Eek and say I obviously I can't reach up and shake their hand because they're too high up, but I say like, oh, it is so great to meet you. Let me tell you, we came over here through how would you describe it? Like it's like the red crystal door kind of down in the
oh,
tunnel.
okay.
Yeah,
She's a little confused what to do now. So you currently don't have, you're not renting or leasing to buy a dirigible or other air flying vessel that needs to be
we have
registered.
dirigibles back home and they're fabulous. You would love to see them and probably destroy them, and I'm sure it would be a great time. But we didn't bring them with us. We just
Correct.
came in through the red door.
Okay. She looks at Eek again and says, "I'm sorry. What was your question? You're missing a friend. Is the friend also
My
distinct like
family.
yourself? Your family? Okay. What do they look
Yeah.
like?"
I have no idea because he's gone before I was born.
You're looking for a family you've never met. You've come here on a
Yeah,
long lost family
my
thing.
parents like told me that you have your family, but long gone. You gotta fly them before you die
This
to meet that person.
this doesn't seem like a matter for the sharps. This this seems like you need to just maybe have you tried the flying pig?
Huh?
Have you tried the flying pig? The place where all the weirdo
Sounds
newcomers go?
tasty.
That's
Can't miss it.
yeah. That was tasty for real.
She gestures back, and you can kind of see there's like a very large ramshackle building, like a couple, like an avenue block back. You can kind of see edges of that looms above some other buildings, and unlike many others, it isn't sort of a little narrow building that's very sort of beautiful looking. It looks just like a huge, sort of a big box, like in a big box stores in a neighborhood, and kind of sticks out. It's got that vibe a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, it's got windows all along the top. I mean, it's not a big box. It's just like a very large single building with all different sort of walls that have been masoned together. Yeah, you're gonna want to go to the Flying Pig Lodge, and probably you're gonna need to spend money, but that's probably where you could find. I'm assuming this person is not a Hoblin. In that case, most likely will be there.
Oh, good to know.
Is it like a public house kind of looking place? Like
Do you ask her that, or I mean, you're
I'm
you're far
asking
off.
like I mean I'm assuming we can see it, right? Like does it look like there's like people drinking and having fun? Is there like a crowd, etc.?
kind of hard to say from you're far away. You can barely you
Okay.
can't see it from here, but you
Right.
can find it easily. Just walk south, whatever. Um,
Well, I just asked that person then that Mayfic, like, is it like hotel or what?
Ye- yes. The translator is doing overtime there, and it maybe offers like a thesaurus kind of menu of words. They're like, yes, yes, yes. She says yes to all of the synonyms. Yes, also yes, also that. That's the one. I
Okay
assume.
then.
I'm sorry. You're not members of the Jeet Jeet clan. I'm guessing none of you have a certificate of membership in the Jeet Jeet or another Hoblin clan, and you don't look like Nirsanel. She says a word. It's maybe translated belatedly as Basil Elf. So you're gonna want to go to the Flying Pig. Realistically.
Okay.
Edelvi turns to the rest of you, and is like, "It would seem that the Flying Pig is the place for outsiders like ourselves."
Yeah, that's what he said.
I snap a selfie of myself with the tripod person, and then the little printout comes out, and then I hand it to her after with just signing it, and then it's like, "Thank you," and then I like walk towards the flying pig.
She once again, she immediately rolls it and smokes it. Also, I think just hands you a nail. It's like a much nicer nail. I think she has a
Yeah.
bag of like, almost like at this point they do function like coins. Yeah, it's like a very nice brass nail. And she maybe is very curious about Edelweiss and is just staring a lot, like trying to wait for you to take your helmet off. You know what I mean? But you all just leave, and she doesn't really get the satisfaction. But yeah, Mirfik kind of like moves the tripod around and kind of like watches you go a little bit suspiciously, but does not does not detain you. You walk south to the Flying Pig.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Uh, I'd rather not be seen just right away getting in. Can I maneuver myself to stay hidden most of the time behind Eek? Because
Yeah.
she'd be large.
Roll movement to sneak if you want to make sure that actually someone would have to beat your movement check. Otherwise, you're just like behind a big person.
Uh huh.
Great. Yeah, you're incredibly sneaky. So you are hidden behind Eek and/or just like passing barrel, comically large cart full of cantaloupes. Whatever happens, you are behind it, and no one sees you if you don't want to be seen. You approach. You go down this avenue. It's increasingly crowded. So the core, there's people working, and they do. You maybe recognize more factions now. There's sort of different badges. There's different styles of hair and dress. But you know, also a little hard to tell. There's mostly all are Koblin speaking a language you don't understand, and your translator is really it's like getting hot, and it's also spitting, and the sort of acidic slime it emits is very slowly causing the bend container it is in to bubble, which does not seem good. So you might want to eventually get a new home for the lip box. But yeah, you make it down the block, one of you unseen, and you can smell it before you see really the it's not really a crowd, but just there's like a line of people coming in, a line of people going in not an orderly way, but in a very relaxed fashion. It's just like a big building. It's got big sort of arcade lower section that seems to lead into what looks like long common tables just full of food, and people seem to be going in, eating, and then leaving, and it doesn't seem like there's anything like they're not no one is paying for anything. There's just like people eating food and walking away, and that is kind of one corner of this massive building. The building is like 2 avenue blocks long by 3 streets wide, and so you're just at sort of one part of it, and all around the other little buildings are much smaller, and maybe architecturally, I mean, they don't look sort of the same at all. You'd also see standing outside, in addition to a lot of hoblins of different kinds, you'd see a couple of humans who look they look to you like riders. They look trained in combat, and they have swords, and they're sort of looking around a little bit suspiciously. Definitely you all stand out as newcomers. So other than your Gelasti friend, all of you are getting the eye from these sort of guards. What do you want to do?
So
I'm gonna go
before
eat.
we
Oh, I'm gonna go eat with the group of people.
Fair enough. What's everyone else doing?
I was going to check on the voice slip box thing. Is it clear what is messing with it? Is it like heat or is it like the smog maybe, or trying to figure out if there's a way I can intervene to kind of prolong its usefulness for us.
Yeah, roll reason.
Let's see here.
It was a rapidly grown, device based on literally hours of effort by someone. So
Do this right.
nice. Yeah,
Okay.
you know basically what this is and how the archivist grew it, made it, and trained it, and inserted some sort of logic, board that has this basic corpus of sounds, and it can kind of spit them back out. And it is essentially getting overheated, and it's causing its essentially pH to be off. And what you need to do is not stress it out so much, and maybe feed it things that will balance its pH. And you know what these would be. You got a 9, so maybe there's most mealworms, most sort of xenobugs you can find on most worlds will have a high enough sort of protein and fat content that'll be good for this device. You might be able to sort of scour around and find something else, but you need to treat it like a little pet. It's like it's a little thing.
Yeah, I inform Gilbert kind of surreptitiously, discreetly, let Reese know, like, our little voice box is in a little bit peckish, I believe. If everyone could look around for any little tiny xenoworms or the like, I think that would do nicely.
I'm not going to be able to find anything like that looking on the ground, but I will walk up to. I'll probably join Eek where the food counter is, and I will look for anything comestible. What
Okay.
do I see up there?
You see a lot of stuff. There are tables piled high with what look like barbecued, very, very large barbecued toads, encrusted in scallions. There
Hmm.
are lots of what look like small, perfectly grown gourds and little berries. There's a lot of stuff that smells strongly of garlic. You see sort of like tofu curd with sort of garlicky, vapor wafting out. You see a lot of like fried skin, like sort of chicken skin looking things. A lot of basically chips that once you have one, it tastes very meaty. It's mushroom chips.
Hmm.
And you'd see you'd see a mix of things that are basically in your mind maybe provincial and things that would fit in on Spindle. So, a lot of mushroom products, but also a lot of sort of like wild animals that just you would never get on. I mean, you'd have to spend a lot of money to get on Spindle.
If I wanted to get one of the toads, do I see anyone else? Like, do I just walk up and take one? Like, what am I seeing other people doing?
Um, Almost everyone here is a hoblin. You don't really see any non-hoblins actually eating, and they are just walking up and eating, and they're
Okay.
talking while they eat, and they're talking to each other and arguing, but no one is fighting. Everyone is just eating and kind of chatting, and the device is really freaking out the closer that the lips box gets to this endless barbecue.
I'll walk up and take a toad. That seems like it might be good for a lips box.
Oh, sure. So do you eat it or do you try to put it
I
in
was
the?
gonna. I was well. I'll take a small bite, but I was gonna feed it to the lips box mainly.
Okay.
I am curious what it tastes like.
Roll will to resist world, since this is a xenofauna on an unknown Goldilocks
Yeah,
world.
this is my worst roll.
Your gut microbes have never digested this.
Oh no.
I think you have to do the no one now with. Sorry,
Oh,
dice
I
have
got a 4.
changed. So, oh, it worked. Okay, it's just
Yeah.
I was used to dice parser. I'll say it doesn't make you sick. Then you got a 4. Whatever. It's fine. You don't like it. It tastes.
Mm.
It has like a terpene taste, like a has like a bitter plant taste. Weirdly,
Okay.
it may be that something was cooked, it was barbecued with, but not your cup of tea. But does not make you like physically ill. It just is like makes you gag.
Mm. I had a
Take
terrible day
the
about this. I,
ใช่
for
I bring it
for
over to Edelweiss.
Edelweiss stops you from just feeding the toad whole to the lips. He's like, allow me, and I carefully disassemble the toad with surgical precision and feed little bits into the lips.
Great. Roll a d12, please, for the lips box's will resist roll. Can it digest barbecued toad from your teeth?
I'm recording this whole thing. This is great. Hashtag memories.
Great, yeah. The lips
Yeah.
box seems to really, really deeply enjoy this, and is just like almost like biting your fingers, but it doesn't really have teeth, so it's just sort of. We know if you don't have gloves on, it would melt through your metal skin, but yeah, it's trying to eat as much as you can give it.
One whole toad in totem. Is there any loose, scrap metal bits in any
Oh,
of the corners of the
I hand you
space?
my nail.
Yeah, you see
It just
Edelweiss
keeps giving these to me.
kind of just looking around beyond the buffet and stuff, and yes, thank you. And you just see Edelweiss just like kind of take the nail and head first, just kind of push it into its face, and just kind of like you hear this sort of soft grinding sound and like tiny itty metal filings falling off, and then it disappears into her face, into its face.
Would you like another one?
You have more.
I kind of find like the nearest 3 or 4 hobblins, and I like, hey guys, I like circle together to get a big selfie, and then I print it off and sign it and hand it to them.
I'm gonna see what they think about the selfies, since people can have different ideas about this. They similarly immediately just hand you, yeah, probably like a small bit of metal or wood.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, yeah, they hand you small bits of wood in this case. So sort
Oh,
of nice,
okay.
maybe it's carved or they started carving it. Yeah, here you go, friend. You notice, so Jedd, since you asked, Edelweiss sees that there isn't really any scrap anywhere, actually. And even the trash, nothing is wasted. Everything is used immediately. So all of the scrap is actually in a container that is then someone comes and empties it. And you might notice that the much rarer sort of gracile, roughly human height, green skinned, but they look like post-humans too. I mean, they look like humans. They just have greenish skin. Who manage all of the organic waste. Certainly, there's no metal spare just anywhere. So you may have to really think about your hunger and how you're going to just get raw metal to eat. Seems like that's a sort of hot commodity.
Is there anyone note as we look around, like anyone who stands out as who might be, I don't know, someone to talk to?
Yeah. You want to roll will to perceive? I mean, I will tell you an answer anyway, but
Sure. I mean, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and boost this by 3, and that's gonna be a D8. I'm just gonna do
great.
8.
You notice as maybe Eek and Reese are just eating stuff, and after you deal with the lips box, you're kind of maybe wandering through the endless barbecue, and you see that around a corner you just couldn't see her before. There is one human here who's eating with the goblins, the goblins, and speaking their language. She's middle aged. She looks very strong. She has some scars, and she's got very nice clothes, and has a very, very nice sword that's ostentatiously like on the table, just out. And she's just eating and chatting with Hoblins, and as soon as she sees you, she probably like brings the sword closer to her and sort of like, get a load of this one. Is talking to her friends. She seems like she, is very comfortable here. Would probably know what's going on. you just get a vibe like maybe I should, ask her. You could certainly also go up to. There are people who work here, many of whom are goblins, a few of whom are humans, and separately there's those the basal elves who are just taking organic waste away, who clearly do not work here, who have like different badge. You could ask anyone about anything if you wanted. It seems like this is a neutral meeting ground kind of an establishment, and maybe from the vibe, maybe some interactions. You have seen people exchanging money, not in this room, but off to the side. You can see through some doors. It looks like sort of the lobby of a hotel. There's like a dimly lit large room where you maybe see some people, buying stuff, paying for something. You get the sense this is as you got the answer to earlier, this is a place that's like an inn, tavern, the place where all of the humans in the entire city live, etc.
Okay. I think because I sort of noticed this middle-aged woman first, Edelweiss walks up to her and taking a cue from Eek. Eek's attempts to sort of frame their mission in sort of a narrative form, kind of for a moment, and then approaches and kind of tells a story about a trader on whose trail they are. Tries to appeal to seeing the sword. Kind of turns to the side and kind of makes its own sword visible on its side. Edelweiss got a pepper katana on it, and kind of tries to tell a story about a trader that they're on the trail of, and they're seeking assistance in tracking him down. And I'm trying to frame it as a story because I have advantage on storytelling charisma checks as a techno-eulogist.
Great. You wanna roll charm to specifically sidle up and through the lips box, which is translating all this. So no matter how smooth you are, it's coming out as this Cronenberg squawking thing. But yes, roll for it.
Let's see. Can I do like 2d10 in this case with the bot here?
Yeah. So a 10 and a 10. Well, that's.
Oh, nice.
That was good.
Okay. Yeah, you're extremely charming. Through the lips box, it's maybe a little bit comical, like the Koblins laugh at the choice of idiom is very stilted. It's like it's an AI chatbot that only has a small vocabulary. But then the story itself is good. You're telling a really good story, so they all kind of lean in and shut up. And then the human says after at the end of it, she sort of looks at you and relaxes a bit. She says, "Oh, that's it. I thought you were. I don't know what I thought. You all look weird. No offense. I don't do that anymore. I'm out of the game. I don't find people and I don't kill people. So whatever your problem is, you're gonna have to ask somebody else. There's plenty of people here who do kill people." Not my friends, and some of them laugh like, haha, but I totally do kill people. And most of them are like, yeah, no, we're whatever, mechanics, a lawyer, an accountant. She says, if you want to sit and eat, the food's free, but I can't help you.
I think you want to help us because we could have such a fun adventure together, going and looking for people. This is part of Tyrus' campaign. We're trying to find everyone we can named Tyrus. And let me tell you, this is going to be super fun. I guess I already rolled it.
Yeah, she draws her sword and points it at increasingly close to your face as you're speaking. She says,
"So I just backing out fully."
Oh yeah, not Edelweiss. This is just to Reese. Edelweiss fine. She just thinks Reese's being gauche, and says I don't know if you didn't hear what I told your friend. If that thing isn't translating it faithfully, I don't know if you can understand the syllables I'm making, or they just sound random to you. And then the lip boxes. I don't know if you could, but I don't do that anymore. I don't work for hire. So if you want to sit and eat, you can sit and eat with us, outsider, or you might want to find another table.
How honest is this person being? I'm watching them without them knowing I'm watching, and I want to know if the mention of the name
Oh,
sparked any.
great
I don't know
question.
if this is a legit I don't do that stuff anymore, or them trying to cover up for someone.
At the mention of Tyrus, she definitely had. She definitely was like, "Mm-hmm, I know who that." Like, made a little motion of like, if you mentioned a close friend or like someone you knew from work or whatever, you'd be like, "Oh yeah." So she definitely did that, but then was caught up in kind of being annoyed at Reese.
Can I use my power here in
Oh yeah.
um burn the 12 plus X grid for the next X minutes? Can you help me? So it's like I roll D12
Yep.
plus whatever grid, right?
Yeah. However much you want minute wise. So if you only want to listen to her thoughts for a minute, you only spend one more grit, but it's D12 plus whatever.
Okay. I'm gonna do 2 minutes.
Okay.
Hold on. D12 plus 2.
Nice. Okay, so you spend 8 grit, so mark that off. And now for the next 2 minutes, you can understand whatever she's thinking on the surface. So she's thinking that Grukjit is one of those great places that one could escape to. And it was wonderful to not be caught up in the politics of humanity. And even though the Choblins have their own strange politics, they're not as destructive as humans. And yet now look at this, it's being ruined. Everyone is going to come here. It's going to be too popular. It's going to be gentrified. The endless barbecue won't be free. God, I hope no one ever teaches the Koblins about money. And she's thinking like, should I like talk to, but like, essentially the people who run this establishment are part of the problem. They're basically humans who are doing stuff for money. So she's like, I can't exactly kick these newcomers out. The people who run this place are just as bad. And they are clearly a group called Lyman's League. So the sort of human faction in the city is called Lyman's League. That's who owns this establishment, more or less. No one owns it, but and she knows them, and they are dangerous mercenaries. She knows sort of all about them, and she's thinking, man, of all the people here to ask, like I'm the one mercenary who used to be dangerous, and now I just want to, basically spend my coin hanging out, early retirement. Um, but she does know in Tyrus, she thinks, man, whatever, like, I hope Tyrus is okay. He seemed like one of the good ones. Actually, he seemed familiar to, he seems like you all. And then that's probably when your ability to read her minds cuts out. But she definitely knows Tyrus, and she definitely does not know where Tyrus is now, and is a little worried.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So I kind of step away, pull my friends, and then tell them what you just said. I was like, oh guys, she knows that guy. What should we do?
But doesn't know where he is. Mm, following her no good.
Do you turn
Well, humans run this place. Humans like to keep tabs and stuff. We could see if the guy was here. We could see if he rented a room. Maybe try to look something in there.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So do you want to
Uh,
go into the establishment, like outside of this the open arcade barbecue area, and inside to the lobby?
yeah, I think I'm pitching that idea. We should try it because if someone's gonna be doing bureaucracy and documentation here, it's gonna be the humans. And in this case, it would be good to find out if the guy spent some time in this establishment. Uh, does this place rent rooms and stuff? You mentioned it being kind of like a hotel.
You're getting that vibe, and I mean, yeah, the answer is yes, and you could figure that out if you go in and sort of ask anybody. They will direct you. There's a counter. There's a couple hoblins and a human who will sort of help you get sorted with whatever you need. Um, And as you leave, this the woman whose name you never got, but she looks at you very suspiciously, and then gets up and follows you, in like part ways, like not like trying to follow you, not you I guess, but the other three, but just far enough to like make herself heard. And she says, "Look, if you find Tyrus, just I hope he's okay. If you're looking for Tyrus, right? You tell me. You come back and let me know if he's all right. Okay. Okay." And she goes back to drinking with you.
I would answer, but I don't want to offend her. Out of
She's
sword range,
feeling.
though. Out of sword range, grabs topic a selfie with her.
Oh, like a long selfie, like she.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's
You
check
could
the
try to
lobby.
persuade them that your selfies are more valuable than they are. Maybe some
They'll
people
figure it
think
out on their
you take
own.
a bit of the soul with pictures. How many nails could you get for a piece of your soul?
I haven't
Hmm.
considered that.
I was like, I could go for a nail.
Just keep getting nails and feeding them to anybody.
So
So going up to the desk.
yeah, you go to the desk.
Mhm.
Two kobolds and a human look up at you, and they speak in their common language, this kobold language that is then translated by your device, and they're asking, what do you need, and what do you have?
Have we seen any money far?
There is clearly, you checked earlier. There is clearly no money here. People seem to bargain mechanical parts. The sort of lowest level of value would be like a nail. Probably someone was messing with you earlier when they tried to give you like wooden, just like a wooden thing that has no real clear use yet. But they would. It seems like you've maybe seen a couple deals with gizmos, with proper
Hmm.
like what's like a little balloon that can be hand cranked, or a bunch of rope, or even better, a bunch of rope tied to a balloon, with kind of some sort of grappling thing. And that would be like, the difference between whatever, like $5 or $20, that kind of
Okay.
succession of complexity of technology is the stand-in for money.
Yeah, so Edelweiss, as we approach the desk, Edelweiss opens up its like satchel type thing, Venturer's pack, and pulls out a handful of these algae-based glow sticks that it has, and it goes to the desk and kind of offers these, and it's like, excuse me, how much information could I get about a potential lodger here named Tyrus? I have these glow sticks that are quite useful in exchange for any information you might have.
Oh, look at that! They are pretty useful. And they're all kind of looking at them. They're like, yeah, you can hang that. Yeah, you could hang that. Well, let me look. What was the name? Can you say it in our language better through your weird external mouth thing?
Yeah, I hold up the lip thing and kind of speak into it.
Sure. They're like, oh, okay, yeah. I'll be right back. And then one of the Hobans runs off, and the human kind of looks at you and is like, is that a helmet? I mean, can you? It seems very tight on your head. The helmet you're wearing.
No, it is part of my corporal unit. Sorry,
Okay.
my body. It is my body.
The Hoblin comes back. Yeah. They stayed here one night last week. They actually overpaid. They had some really cool stuff like this thing, which you could totally hang. You could hang a bunch of these. If you just got a whole bunch, we just need more actually. Where can we get more? Maybe you can get more. But yeah, they brought some cool stuff. But then they didn't come back after the first night. Says right here. That's all it says. Okay, bye bye.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Turn back to my crewmates and relay this.
The,
It
the,
was
the,
last week.
the human
So
waves and
what?
says, you've over exchanged. You're new here, right? You can stay. Do you need a room? You just effectively pay. You don't pay for anything, but you can stay for a while with that much stuff.
Ooh.
I
You
look
can
back
get to
at
his room.
Reese.
Well, here's the key. You just want a random room, or for all of you, one of you is very large.
I'm thinking we want the room Tyrus was in, right?
That'd be good. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
It's only in character if I'm squeaking.
She brings you a key, and hands it to Edelweiss, and says, maybe next week you'll have more of those glow stick things, or something else useful.
Yes, do you know where I might find some, some scrap metal that no one might actually want or need?
I'm not understanding the words that are coming out of your box. It seems like you're describing two antithetical concepts at the same time that can't be married together
Oh,
in
I
a meaningful
see.
way.
Yes. Uh, I'm, I'm looking for just loose metal, scrap metal.
Oh, you need to like buy. You have like you need to fix your ship or something. She
In a manner of
mentions
speaking, yes.
she mentions a Hoblin who lives here, who has lots of just like odd, like they collect like just weird stuff that doesn't really, like they like a what's it called, like a pawn shop kind of a vibe. And they can help you with whatever you need.
And they are nearby.
Yeah, they're upstairs, probably in their room where they work out of, but and just writing down a name here. I'm gonna go with Rengavin. Is roughly what it sounds like. It's kind of getting translated into like spinning ear sounding names. But Rengavin is a older Koblin not from the city, who has sort of a pawn shop upstairs. She tells you the room number. You now have a key to the room Tyra stayed in one night. You also can go to this pawn shop and buy nails or whatever you need.
To Reese. Is it a metal key?
It's a metal key. That's yeah.
Yeah. So just kind of holds it a pregnant moment and then hands it to Reese and says, "If you'll excuse me, I'm going to see this Gavin. And you may check the room, but I will meet up with him shortly."
Oh, if only I have dispense, but I can only make drugs with it. I can't copy things. Sorry.
Informatic problems, Yeah, what do you want to do? Are you going to split the party? Also, are you still sneaking, Direk? Is Direk just kind of like behind Eek constantly?
I am trying to. It's not so much trying to hide from people, but trying to. If I notice anybody that looks like the Tyros, they will not see me, and most people are just not noticing me because I'm behind the large friend. But I know I can't be invisible from all directions. I'm just being discreet and near the larger presence, and well,
Yeah, I mean
in
it's
case we
obviously
spot our person, I could try to detach from the group and tail them to wherever they go and then return the info and whatever.
makes sense. So you're doing a Metal Gear Solid kind of thing when effectively are invisible in plain sight.
I believe Derek would be small enough to fit in a box and take it with him.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I think Derek is like almost you're maybe as large as a large Koblin, I think. Um, a little bit larger than average. So yeah, what do you want to do? Do you want to go upstairs to your room, or do you want to go find someone else?
I'm with
No,
whoever's going.
sorry. Oh, you go first.
I'm following whoever's going to the room because I'm interested in looking for clues in there.
Okay. I'm
I'm
gonna
here.
walk outside to hit on somebody because that's I'm too sexy to just sit around in the
Okay,
room.
never mind. I'm going with Eek to be your wing
Yeah,
girl.
girl.
Okay, so you're just gonna like meet.
Let's have some fun.
Are you looking for humans or Hoblins or basal elves or I mean, those are your options essentially.
I mean, anybody.
Okay. Well, there's lots of people. I'm gonna say it's moved from late afternoon toward dusk, so you can see that Gruxel falls to what you have been told by the very small, badly made map on that one-page dossier you got to the east instead of the west. But you still have a couple hours of sunlight, and there are now a lot of like 3 and 4 member groups of goblins. It's slowed down a little. It seems like they don't eat as much at dusk, and there's definitely a couple of those human guards who are sort of pretty obviously following you around at this point. They're very curious about a bear with a guinea pig head and a human just kind of hanging out.
Edelweiss is heading upstairs to Red Goblin's shop.
Great. Do we want to do interacting with random humans and goblins first, or do you want to do buying stuff from the pawn shop first?
Depends. I'm probably going to ask Rangavan about if they've seen Tyrus, but I'm mainly going to offer. Do I have to drink water?
No. I mean, actually, I think it depends. I think Shuta have an option now for different kinds of environmental resistance, but
Okay. Well, I'm thinking about giving up more stuff from my adventurers pack, so like, or my water flask, my rope. Whatever gets me a good solid metal meal.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah, you trade, mark it off the rope. It's good rope. Ringavin's old. Ringavin's got sort of a reddish tint, um, over some green of his cheeks, and he's got a jeweler's glass that he inspects everything with, even the rope for like the fiber, and is very surprised. Has not seen this make before, and comments a lot on the make of the rope. And then says, "Wait, maybe I did see it. Maybe it was a week ago. Oh, young feller, sort of like you, but more facey. Came in and had some similarly made gear, almost like it was grown the fibers together instead of anyway. Yeah, sure. I got a box of I don't even know what to call them. They maybe used to be nails, and he has like a box of just like bits of like shrapnel, basically. And then hands it to
Yeah.
you, takes your stuff. What was the other thing you wanted to talk about besides box of crap?
You mentioned someone like me, but more facey, yes, who had similar gear. Do you know? It sounds like someone I'm looking for. Do you know anything about him, or where he might have gone off to?
I don't see a trade in front of me, so I'm not sure if you're trying to play hardball here or.
I offer a bottle of Thinky Boost pills.
Ooh.
Damn, a whole bottle.
All right. I know who we were talking about, and I absolutely hate him. And he takes the bottle and explains, and he says, this human who spoke a language that seemed completely unrelated, and Rangavin is a smart person and believes he's heard most of the languages spoken anywhere around Krukjichit, which is also you realize in speaking to him, it's only been flying for like a couple years. So it used to be on the ground, and then there was an explosion, and that was controlled, and now it is flying and directed very slowly by lots of dirigibles in directions. So anyway, like he grew, he's not from here. He was just in the city on business with the Jeet Jeet when they went flying. And he explains that newcomer who speaks has like an accent like yours, didn't have a box like yours, but there was someone else who was like translating, like taking notes, learning the language. So they spent a lot of time on just haggling and language. Didn't understand how to properly haggle. But he explains that he thought Tyrus was like a little fake, like a little overly nice, and then he knew it was the case when he saw Tyrus with that Nirsanel. And you realize Nirsanel is clearly their word for what is translated in your box as Basil Elf. And he sort of Rungavin just basically is very suspicious of the Basil Elves, who effectively are their own faction. And you can get from talking to them, they think they're so important because they essentially grow all of the food for the city. And so Rungavin just is sort of, he's kind of racist against elves, and thinks that just because they grow all the food. Doesn't just because this literally used to be their city, he says, does not mean like basically people shouldn't have ownership of things. So it doesn't really matter that they think it used to be their city. What matters now is that all the goblins from all the land are moving here, and that's it's flying. So what are you gonna do? He sort of goes on, and it really loses the thread in like a little bit of an annoying older person telling you a story way. But you get the sense that Tyrus spent all of his time basically with one of the Near Sinal.
I put down another bottle of Thinky Boost. Okay.
How many pills of Thinky Boost are in a bottle?
Wheeling and dealing.
Can you remember who this Basil Elf was?
Yeah. He also he takes a lot of Thinky Boost. He like tried one from the first bottle, and then he tries like 5 more. And he seems fine. He just seems like really over the top. Like, oh yeah, oh yes, I do. I definitely do recall now that you mention it. It's funny because I didn't recall, and then I took one of these here. What is it? Like a compound of herb. And then I did remember. So I guess they're memory pills. So I guess I'll need them. But I actually have a pretty good memory most of the time. But this is like really good. Like wow, I can remember all kinds of stuff. Like 3 days ago, I
yes.
this song.
Name of right. And the name was.
And he says a name in Near Sinel, and it is hard for it sounds very musical. And maybe he says it a couple times, and then you just basically you maybe give up, and he says you could just call her Kest.
Kest, yes.
Kest. Yeah, they're a gardener.
Gardener named Kest, yes. Very helpful. Yes, thank you very much. And I give him a salute of some sort awkwardly, and take my box of shrapnel and begin consuming it on the way down the stairs.
Great, yeah, like snacking into the face.
That's gotta be so confusing for any of the ones to see.
I was probably
to their head.
I was probably like snacking on it as he was talking towards the end there.
It's a little bit like Hellraiser, yeah, just sticking like sharp spikes of metal into your face. Yeah, delicious. I mean, it's a little rusty. It has a very different tinge, but essentially it's some kind of iron is a relatively common element, so heavy elements go. So it's basically iron. But they all have a different flavor. It's like a terroir. Outside, Eek. Do you want to hit on 2 human guards or 4 random goblins who might be in quadruple?
Yes.
Mine's that Levi is the one with the voice box.
Oh, right. You also can't understand what they're saying.
I don't know how much time my conversation took. Imagine it could have taken a little bit of time with all the heckling and time for the Thinky Boost to kick in and stuff. I don't know.
Well, Gay, do you want to use powers to be able to read people's minds? Do you want to wait for Edelweiss to come back with the lip box?
Am I nearby Jedd?
I think Edelweiss was upstairs this whole time, so I think if you're outside, you might just have to wait to do your thing, because you have no way of speaking with anyone and being understood unless you use your
okay.
science.
Do you want to do some kind of
use my
performance?
body language.
Yeah, do you want to do some kind of performance?
Yes, yeah. Like
Okay.
kind of like walk past by that group, and then I was like,
What is
like,
the?
I need water.
Oh, okay. You're universal.
I was going to suggest we do a dance to try to make a flash mob happen.
Yeah, you want to roll charm for your the semantic content of your need water dance. I mean, what are you going for here to kind of just get their attention? And Also, are you trying to get the attention of the human guards or random passersby?
We should probably go for the humans. They're more likely to speak Spin.
I already tried. Okay. Well, I'll try first, and I'll use my power later. But
Can I assist on this roll?
Yeah, sure. You wanna whatever the intention is. Again,
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm totally clear, but you got an 11, so sure. Everyone nearby is stopping and watching you dance with your hands. Like I'm imagining a little bit of a vogue, and they bring over food, and maybe they're joining in and drinking. You're drinking. Some of them have water, most don't. Almost none of them have water. They probably mostly have what they would call, but you don't have the translator. But they essentially have something foaming that smells like ethanol, and they definitely hand you like a mug. You know, there's like a conga line of people bringing you mugs of booze.
I'll take it, and I did this.
Okay,
Like,
they. I
and
guess
then
they
I
understand that
I
because you
drink.
got.
That is the wow symbolic. So basically, to say thank you,
Right.
and I drink that thing, that ethanol.
Right. Okay. Well, you've taught them this, and now they all are doing it, and so they're all beginning to
Yeah.
love drinking as you go at each other in a line, drinking all drink or one cup, which is all of the booze they have on hand poured into one cup. So it's like a shot of beer, a shot of tequila, a shot of all drink, a shot of fermented pig fat,
Oh boy.
and like a shot of like cinnamon schnapps. So it is probably to a human at plus 0 million years in the future, like would just be
It's the
awful.
it's the drink they're describing in Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba, right?
It
He
is
drinks a
exactly,
whiskey
yes.
drink. He drinks a cider drink.
It is definitely the Chumbawamba drink. Yeah, I mean, I won't even make you roll for it, Gay. I think you can decide if you like it or not, but it is strong enough where you feel it, like you a basically grizzly bear feel kind of drunk. You're like, whoa, that was like a lot of information.
Yeah, I'm a big person, so I think I can handle it well. So it's like, yeah, it's okay. I've had better, but I had fun. But while I hang out with them, I want to do drain to
Okay,
get my grit back.
great. So you invisibly siphon the psychic energies the goblins in the conga line, bringing you free drink.
Well, they will, right? And plus 4 because level they will
That sounds
eat.
right.
What a strategy. Yeah.
Yeah, so you keep them near you, keep them happy, and you drain them of grit, and you feel energized. Yeah.
But, but I cannot be more than my maximum grit, right? Correct?
Yeah. This
Okay.
one only gets you back up to max.
Okay.
So, all right, what do you do next? So I'll say at this point, Edelweiss comes down. Edelweiss has the lips box, and Derek is still in the shadows, unseen, watching.
I would have gone up. When everybody detached, I had decided to go to the room, as I mentioned. I thought more people were going to the room, but it ended up not happening.
Okay, great. Right, you go to the room.
Uh,
You want to inspect the room?
yeah, and make sure I wasn't followed because the woman was keeping tabs on us before.
Great. I will say you were sneaky, so you are not followed since you're the only one who went. But if you want to, do you want to like check up on the sort of ex mercenary whom you saw earlier, or did you just want to go straight to the room?
I want to go to the room.
Okay. Do you want to roll reason? You go to the room. It's a normal room. You probably pass in the hall some kobolds coming and going, maybe a couple humans. Most look like merchants. I mean, they might have weapons on them, but you don't get the sense this is like a highly militarized situation. It seems a little more
Mm-hmm.
just random. Groups of people seem to be coming here, trading stuff. The kobolds don't accept any kind of money, so you have to have like something kind of useful and make a case for it. And then there's sort of sub economies based on categories of vaguely useful shit. Your room is a very normal room. It's very small and spare. There's one small bed. which is I think one reason they were surprised you wanted it, because there's several of you, some of whom are huge. But yeah, there's a bed. There's also like maybe like a desk thing that actually folds down and is almost like a cradle. Like maybe you could sleep in it comfortably. But yeah, there's like just a couple pieces of utilitarian furniture. There might be the Goblin equivalent of like the Gideon Bible, but you don't really know. It's just a bunch of pages printed with a script you've never seen, with images of Goblins clearly stamped. It's clearly like the same person doing different things, kind of the life of a saint kind of story. A little bit graphic novel, a little bit religious tract. It looks like it was clean. You know, you don't see like someone else's personal effects. But yeah, roll reason, and I'll tell you more.
Alright. Yeah. Hopefully our guy forgot something or left something that could lead us to them. Reason. Alright. I'll burn 3 grit on this. Actually, no, the guy was here. I'm gonna burn 6.
Oh, you got to do, I guess, no spaces.
Alright.
Sorry, these are finicky. These parsers.
So they're giving us so many ones.
Well,
Looks like you got a one. He was here.
it.
You know, I think it's more fun. I think you do find something. I think you find a note. You don't know what the note says though. But it's clearly it does not look like the goblin Bible of Tragel. It is a note in a very different script. It's a different hand in a different script, different language. And it looks like it was tucked under the door, and maybe in cleaning it got like knocked to the edges. So you use your Sherlock Holmesianness to get it, but just at that moment, the door opens, and you don't have time to hide. You were clearly found by that woman from earlier. This sort of aging, you're almost like 50-ish, very very strong mercenary. She has her
I tried to
out. Yeah.
just tuck the note into a pocket to like turn it around so that she doesn't see I have something.
Great. Roll movement to hide your to prestidigitate. You know your motion there.
All right. That is actually an even better reason to burn some grit. I have a bigger die. Let's hope I don't bungle this.
Oh wow. Yeah. I mean, she is not looking at your hand or anything like that, and you are a masterful magician. Paper.
I pretend it's somebody I was expecting. I just go, the book is very funny. Why the guy like this?
What?
You know those old Jesus paintings where they're like.
Yeah. Pantocrator. Yeah. That's she's looking at you. She looks at the tract of Tragel. Looks at you. Is like, what? You just staying here normally and reading religious literature?
I can't read shit actually. It just looks very funny. I like pictures.
There's some good stories actually. If you learn Goblin, it doesn't matter. Why are you here? Why are you people back? Tyrus said that they would come back, and that this is not going to be good for the Jeet Jeet or anybody else. So why are you here? And she's like waving a saber like at you.
I'm trying to keep the furniture between me and them because this is menacing. I'm doing the thing where I'm smaller and my eyes are. I don't know, miss. I got distracted by the cat. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I don't know. I help out with some stuff every once in a while. I'm more of a helper to the others than anything else. We're supposed to talk to him about something they have. Sorry, the person's pronouns. I thought I heard different ones, but it's a they, right? Tyrus?
This is a she, her pronoun, human, middle-aged woman, clearly a warrior.
No, the Tyrus one.
Tyrus uses he, him, or I believe that's what I said. That's what I wrote down, and I might have misspoken.
About something that Tyrus has that is of interest. I really don't know much.
Okay, so you're going with the truth there. She sort of holds the sword out and then slowly, puts it away because it's a little awkward to be threatening to stab someone while speaking genially. What? What? Why? Why though? Why do you want this thing? I mean, you don't even know what it is.
I don't. Uh, you would be familiar in the work that sometimes things are above your pay grade. We're figuring out as we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been there. All right.
Oh, hey, why are you so? This time was a friend. Like they didn't tell us to do anything specifically regarding Tyrus, just about the stuff Tyrus has.
I guess Tyrus was. I only knew Tyrus a week, but I mean, you can make friends in a week, especially you drink enough. And frankly, there's not that many humans here. There's not that many interesting humans. Most of the humans who showed up, they're just here to make money, take Selshinor. But Tyrus seemed He talked like he was different. I mean, he seemed to really, really like Kest and liked us, and we played a lot of cards. I guess I won a lot of money from him. Maybe that's why I
Oh,
liked him. I don't know. I don't know why.
I I like cards.
But wait, so he didn't go back to whatever. He said it was like another Groot Jeet Jeet, but not
Uh, missing in action. We don't know the guy alive. Could not be.
missing in action. Oh, yeah.
Like he came here with people. He didn't go back. For all we know, he could have tangled with the wrong people. And well, the wrong people took him down and took the stuff. We're here for the stuff. If the Tyrus alive, we could also get the Tyrus.
So you just want something Tyrus had, but you're willing to help Tyrus if needs help.
We were not instructed about what to do about Tyrus. We're instructed about the stuff. If Tyrus part with stuff, we help Tyrus. If Tyrus don't part with stuff, we might not take stuff. I don't mind what Tyrus do. I don't know if Tyrus alive.
Me neither.
I really don't. Dude,
She
you
suggested.
last see him.
She last saw him a couple days ago. They were playing cards, and then he went out, and he went to a meeting, and he would not say where he was going. And he was joking about it, but in a way that made her fear it was, important, serious, potentially dangerous. Whatever he actually came here to do.
They losing stuff on cards might have lost some stuff that wasn't his.
Maybe, but I don't
They
know.
borrow
It's
nails.
different. They had he and the other one, the one who could speak our language better, had a lot of nails and other things, better than nails. They had stuff like you have those, and she lists like kind of common spin made like goods. Like they brought like they basically
Oh,
traded away, their enviro suits, like pistols.
Oh
Um,
wow.
they traded they became sort of rich in a sense, but it was a little unclear at times. And it seems like, and she basically gives you essentially some of the information that Edelweiss got. It seems like he quickly befriended, one of the Basil Elf, hydroponicist, one of the farmers of the city, and spent most of his time with them, and that's all that she knows. She also introduces herself finally. She asks your name, and she introduces herself as Decage.
Derek.
She tries to make the noise and it doesn't. Oh wait, you don't have the
That's
box.
from here.
Sorry, I realized this whole conversation requires Edelweiss to be there.
I was gonna say earlier, like if this was
bad.
happening while I was upstairs, maybe I ran into them while I was coming down or something.
Okay, so
Retcon of this character speaks spin.
yeah, maybe you heard. If we just retcon real quick, you heard Decage open the door, and then you heard Derek sort of squeak in a surprise, and then you rushed over with the box, and so
Yeah.
collectively, you've calmed
Sure.
this scene down, sort of befriended her. She wants to find Tyrus, so she likes Derek. She seems to think Derek is she understands stuff being above your pay grade, and she says, "Look, I just let's see what happened to Tyrus and see what this thing is that you're supposed to get." And she's very curious now, so she's kind of following y'all around. Meanwhile, Eek and Reese, you've gotten kind of drunk. You've made some friends. Do you all want to meet back up? What is your plan here?
Yeah,
Okay.
just like
Honestly, I just
like
being a
couldn't
big
do
woman.
anything more, but get drunk. So I'm just gonna hug them to say good night, and then go back to the room.
I imagine we probably all end up converging, maybe like in the lobby or right outside of it.
Yeah, maybe y'all come down and the other group's going up, and so you're sort of at a mezzanine level. There's quarters going off, and at various points, rooms are used as not rooms to sleep in, but there's clearly rooms that are like functioning more or less as gambling dens, late night snack dens, etc.
I've
And
left like dozens of autographed selfies with various people all around the bar area.
how much paper does your thing have? We should be.
I was gonna
It's I fully load it before every venture.
Great. It's got like 100 charges. Yeah,
Like that.
you're all together, and Dekaj is also there. So those of you who weren't involved in that conversation, maybe you're caught up quickly. And she, seems to want to find out what happened, but also sort of like why you're really here, which you yourselves don't seem to know.
Kind of attempts to sort of pull Diek aside and say, "Did you find anything in that room?"
Yeah, I did. Yes, and he does not have it. Yeah, because with reading stuff, I just see scratchy, scratch.
Yes. Well,
And
what did you find?
I very sneakily hand you the thing. Now, understand.
Hmm. Do I recognize what's going on here?
It's a piece of paper written. It's clearly a letter written in a language you have never seen before.
No one.
None of you, yeah.
Hmm.
I want to get a vibe on Dekaj, because I'm wondering if Dekaj could interpret for us. Perhaps.
Sure. Do you want to ask, or do you want to somehow? I don't know how you would do that without just asking. But
Yes. I kind of look. The powers here.
I can help though. I can use my power to tell them what to do.
I have that too. Perfect.
I'm assuming you didn't say that within earshot of
Yeah.
Dekaj. Oh, I guess if the power lets you tell me what to do, then I guess you could just flaunt it. Um, and I don't know. I guess I pull out the paper and show it to everybody.
Okay. If Dakash sees it, she asks what's that, and the box translates, and she's waiting. Like what do you got there?
Yes, we're trying to figure that out ourselves. I suppose you understand what's written here.
She if you proffer it to her, she does know what it is, but she can't read it, and she says it is a letter written in Near Sinel. It is the language of what your lips box faithfully translates as the Basil Elves.
Hmm.
Could we exchange stuff with Elf to get them to read?
Yeah, you could do that. She also suggests that if you want to find if you came here to find Tyrus, you might go looking for Kest, who was most likely to be the person who would know where he is, and who certainly then could read the letter, which they may have written.
This Kest is apparently the interpreter that accompanied what's the guy's name again?
Tyrus. Kest is not the witness. The witness came back. So the witness is on spin. Kest is a Basil elf who Tyrus met early
Oh.
on. Yeah.
I turned to Dakash and like, you wouldn't have to know where this chest might be found.
I mean, yeah, and that all of the members of the union, the hydroponicus union, that all of the elves live more or less together. I mean, not literally 100%, but most of them. So
By choice?
yeah, I guess maybe it wasn't clear. This was their city, and then the goblins, the hoblins blew it up, and now it's their city. So the only ones left are sort of stuck or have chosen to work here. They grow all of the plants, so they have a pretty good niche within the politics of the city. That makes sense.
No. Yeah. I was more thinking this was a situation where the hoblins pushed them all into one neighborhood, but doesn't seem like it.
It's the hoblins are a various bunch. The vaulters, the originals, they were just lording over Nelu, the union, and they didn't push anyone anywhere. But the sharps, you have to understand that the dirigible pilots, they kind of run everything really, and they definitely keep an eye on Nelu just like they keep an eye on humans. With the humans now, you have Lyman and his buddies, so we have a different relationship. But the elves have chosen another tact. They grow the food. That's their thing. Uh, we can go to Nelu, I guess, and you know try to find Kess. I don't know her that well. I met her a few times just this week with Tyrus.
Seem to be best lead.
Keep deciding when the appropriate time to use find clue would be.
Me too. like,
like are we so lost at the point like, well, geez, who the fuck knows? Or is it like oh well, we have another place we could go.
Okay, well, forget it. We both have find clue. I'll use my find clue to kind of like analyze all the data we've accumulated and just kind of like crunch the numbers in my robo brain.
Okay, cool.
To
Sounds
kind
good.
of determine what might be the best thing to go.
I suppose we're going to try to get.
Yeah, so I use find clue. So find something genuinely useful plot wise. Or deducing, analyzing everything we've heard so far, what seems to be like the clearest path forward.
Yeah, you notice that there's the soundscape of the city, and you've gotten maybe, and this makes sense because Edelweiss had the lips box and kind of been chasing after everyone else. So the lips box is sort of not random, but I mean it's maybe a random walk. Maybe it is a little random on purpose when it doesn't know what to translate, or when there's silence and it's hearing distant sounds, and like how important is it to translate that? It's pretty primitive, but it does translate some from the outside, and you hear there is more of an armed clash. There's like something going on outside, and clearly it's a group calling themselves the Stokers, who are looking for essentially someone who offended them in some way, and this is quite dramatic for what you've seen so far, because while there's a lot of Hoblins yelling about politics all the time, they generally don't come to blows. Whereas outside, it seems like there is like a fight happening between what sounds like sort of religious fanatics and other Hoblins, and it sounds like maybe the human guards of this sort of mega hotel emporium are breaking it up. And you just get like bits of that maybe while you're having this discussion, and Dakaj is like talking about the near Sinel hydroponicus union, and that's your clue.
Everyone else is talking, and Edelweiss puts up a hand like, be quiet. That's fighting.
The Stokers.
It's that way. And I begin moving, and I kind of beckon towards Reese to come with me.
I go.
And I
Let's
pull
go
out
find
my
these stokers.
I pull out my pepper katana just in case, and that direction.
Great, you all go. Dakaj is still like not sure what, like, we're leaving now, and she follows because like the translation there's like a delay, so she's like rounding up the rear, but has a good tactical awareness or whatever. So you all go down and out the main sort of doors by the Endless Barbecue, and you look over at the commotion to your right. Is that the vibe, or are you sneaking? What's your like move?
All right. I think focus is probably intense enough that I'm probably Edelvi at least probably isn't flirting with sneaking, just kind of trying to get a view of things.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, as you go down, the fight's already being broken up, but there's clearly a fairly large. There's like a few dozen Koblins who have that you can see in the dark that their clothes are sort of violet, like dark violet, and they're lined with sort of flame orange and have little flame patterns. And they all have on the same sort of like blackout shades, even though it's dark out. And maybe they actually, several of them are holding torches. And around them are some other Koblins who are not, are just dressed variously, and then a couple of the human guards who see you all, and they're all kind of yelling in confusion. You're only getting some of the lips box, but you're getting a sense of like, yeah, scram, get out of here, and like, oh, look at these, who are these wise fellas? Like, one of them's a bear. Yeah, the bear did a dance. It was like a vote, more tectonic, and then you get some bits of that.
Do I see Tyrus anywhere, or are there any Basil elves around?
No Basil Elves, no Tyrus. Two groups of goblins, two human guards, and they're now kind of confused whether they should be worried about the approach of the outsiders or the fact the Stokers haven't really left. The Stokers have just backed off, and the Stokers are just watching at this point.
So clarify for me: are there 3 parties, or is it like Stoker's guards?
It's like Stokers, normal Koblins, guards, and you. So there's 4 groups outside, just in this broad avenue before the Flying Pig Lodge.
Gotcha. Well, Edelvi definitely puts away its sword.
Okay.
I just sort of gesture to Reese. If I see you.
I go up to them and I'd like to. Do I feel like it would be more important to smooth things over or just like ask them questions?
No one is fighting. It seems like one group is waiting around to intimidate, and you can just talk to them. I mean, no one is like literally in combat right now.
Okay. I think I'll just keep going with the thing I've been doing earlier, like asking them, hey guys, we're on this fun campaign called Find Tyrus. Do you guys know where Tyrus is? And
they immediately, before you can finish, as the lips box translates, they start swarming around you. You have a dozen serious-looking Hoblins with, you see, they all have sort of spear gun-looking like weapons. They have clank weapons of some kind, and they are demanding. And so you're getting pieces of it because it's translating different speech. But they're demanding to know where is Tyrus. They're asking. They're basically like demanding you take them to Tyrus.
Yeah. I say like, yeah, that's right. Where's Tyrus? Let's find him. And like really like enthusiastically like trying to jazz up with them and everything. Maybe even like Tyrus.
Oh God.
They really aren't gonna chant with you. The leader who's at the back, a wizened older Stoker, raises her sort of torch on a large metal pole and slams it into the cobblestone and decrees something in Hoblinish, and it's translated as "Everybody shut the fuck And then she explains, we've come looking for one of you. You already know his name because you just used it. Therefore, we can assume that you will take us to him, and the honor of Pyralis will be restored. And they all start chanting, restored, 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 restored. But it's
I'll start chanting "Restore It" also,
You
as best I
can't
can.
chant, you're not a stoker. Stop and start chanting. So I'm
sorry,
confused
what?
now. You take us to him.
Awesome. This is so great, you guys. We're really excited. Okay, and then like very quietly whispering over to Edelweiss, like, all right, now where do we go?
The human guards they've gotten a couple more, and there's now like 4 guards here, and there's a couple more guards in the way, and they clearly want this to all break up or like go somewhere else. Like they're worried about violence on the streets, and they're very worried about like, you newcomers are causing a problem. So it is actually more tense now after the chanting. Everyone's kind of crazy.
Chanting makes everything more intense.
True.
See, I don't know if smooth over. I could. Let's see. Where. I obviously want to get them away from this general area so that we're not causing more problems. I'm gonna use find clue now. I would like to know if I wanted to lead a crowd of stokers to go find Tyrus, where would I probably want to go? And I'm not asking where Tyrus is. I'm asking like with this crowd of stokers, I'm trying to avoid, a massive like riot or something. I want to take them to where I think would be a good place to go. Like, I mean, if Tyrus happens to be there, that's great. But just like based on what I've seen so far, like what is a good place that I could lead them to so that it feels like we're making progress. Is that specific enough?
I mean, yeah, but I think you already have a clue as to where you would go to find Tyrus.
Okay.
The Basil Elf place.
Yeah, so I could also tell you other places you could lead this mob, that would get them away from the flying pig, but
I mean, I guess,
you.
yeah. If that would be like, all right, we can do that. Yeah. That's not leading them in the direction of like a more populated area though, right? Like as much as I like having attention drawn to me, I don't want it to be with like, exploding things behind me.
It's all pretty dense, so there's nowhere else to like go.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You have to go somewhere, so it's like where you tell me. You can go toward Nelu, toward the greenhouse. You can go toward, somewhere else.
Yeah, let's do
maybe. We're taking the people with the fire sticks to where all the edible plants are.
Yeah.
You could also take them, for example, to the docks, where the sharps are, where generally the sharps are going to impose, some level of like military order, because they're protecting all the Koblen's war dirigibles and the dirigibles that just help keep different parts of the city afloat that are falling off. So that's definitely more of a like, you could take them from some human guards to a small army of Koblen guards who will then, kind of take command of the situation. Those are both things you would have maybe figured out by now, just like looking around and talking and stuff. And you have a vague sense the docks are like whatever, like a little bit north. You go down a street and go over.
I'm trying to think about which one would make me more famous, and I think maybe taking him to the greenhouse because then we're still in control of the situation as much as we could be. So let's do that.
Okay. You head to the greenhouse.
Thinking like a refactor.
This is all, and let me just quick plug. This is all by Will Savino and Burrowbound. This content we're playing in a setting that's the group Burrowbound created. They do speculative cities, we're using it for Stillfleet, even though it's obviously was maybe intended for other games, but works well for Stillfleet. I think a flying Goblin city that's sort of diesel punk with hydroponic farms. Very cool to me. So big thanks to Will and Burrowbound. Okay, you head to the greenhouse, which is, again, I'll just pick a random direction. It is a way you're in the core. You're off the core, which is the now just called the core. It was the banking district, and you're headed toward what used to be some sort of hill, and it's still parts of it look like a hill, and parts of it were just sheared off in the explosion. So it's like a kind of nice, like, San Francisco hill cut in half. And on one half, over out onto the void, has been built a very large greenhouse of heavy plate glass and lots of pipes in the Near-Sinel style, although the pipes are all kind of now just iron, are curved in and supporting it over the void. And at night, the lights glisten off of the big heavy plate, and you can see inside there are many, many racks of different kinds of plants, and some of them are being supported at night with little weak artificial lights giving off a little bit of violet smog that's vented out the top. So it's kind of an interesting, like, scene as you head north and then east and then all the way to the east. The Stokers are following you. They're very curious about Nehlu. They're all kind of talking to each other. They speak a kind of cant, a kind of religious cant, so you can't really understand what they're saying, even with the lips box, because those words, it's coming out random. It's like fishes, 20, 35, and you're like, I have no idea what they're saying. So they are speaking the same language, the meaning is lost, if that makes sense.
I am, like, not desperately, but like repeatedly trying to get them into, like, some kind of, like, fun, like, call and response chant or something, like, kind of making some kind of cohesive, like, yeah, we're in this together, all of us.
Roll charm, because they really, I think, want to sacrifice you to Puralis.
All right, I'm boosting this because I've been doing shit all night. So, all right, we're doing
I'll give the mob a lower
lowercase
will
d
than the
plus
leader.
2. All right, I'm gonna burn 6 grit for this.
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't
You
reflect.
gotta be fucking kidding me! I
I
rolled a 1 again.
You rolled a 1. Oh my god.
Holy shit.
My charm skill is d12 plus 1.
Well, you still beat him on numbers, so I'll say you do fail in the sense that they find you very annoying, and they do threaten to sacrifice you. However, they're more concerned about finding Tyrus and restoring the honor of Pyralis, and so they sort of now are forcibly marching you. They're like all poking you with sort of metal spears with
Oh boy.
torches.
Yeah.
On the end, and so they are not chanting exactly. They're speaking rapidly in their rhyming slang, and all you get out of it is they're just threatening you with, like, fishes, 35, hatchet, fishes, doorknob, and you're like, oh, and they're
Oh, Block Tango.
yeah.
Is there anyone following this procession that Reese whipped up?
Yeah, probably all of
Like,
the hackers.
are people who are not part of this or keeping an eye or have their
I'm
reasons for
intentionally
them?
trying to recruit other people. Just I want to gather the biggest crowd possible.
I'm gonna say
I'm thinking about people who are clearly not mixing, but want to know where this goes. And
the humans
sort of like
in the
us.
league are not following you. However, the sharps are definitely following you, and a large number of random normal civilians are following you. So just normal koblins are following, as well as, like, a small, like, a couple dozen, like, soldiers. Maybe a couple of whom have those, like, sort of tripod, like, diesel punk, like, walking things.
Reese is over the moon about this, like, oblivious to the fact that, like, the spears are intentionally poking her, and she is just, like, in the front of a huge crowd and everyone's following her, and this is it.
Everybody's
So-
like, excuse me, I think we may have lost control of the situation.
Are you kidding? Look how big it is! We're doing awesome!
Yes, it is quite large. Yes, it is getting quite large.
Yeah.
You might want to get our guy first.
What do you arrive at the greenhouse, and you see the essentially the druids who run the hydroponicists of the union are all out in their robes. They remind you a little probably of archivists, although it's a sort of deeper gray, and all of their robes have living plants woven through. And a couple of them come forward and spread their hands, and they all have a lot of bling. They're all wearing like really nice jewelry and stuff too. But they also are wearing plants. Like they're all, I mean, they don't really have clothes on under the robes. They just have like plants that are ivy and stuff is growing around them. And they sort of wave their arms and try to kind of calm everyone down. There's some like rhythmic waving, almost like Reiki. Meanwhile, the Stokers are like even more loudly at this point chanting in their cant. Whatever, 35 fish head doorknob, 35 fish head doorknob. And you are being poked out in front, Reese. The soldiers in the back are watching with their spear guns out, very, very closely to see if violence does break out. What do you say? Also, I guess Edelweiss has to be near with the box to translate.
I'm gonna keep going with it. We all gathered here today to find Tyrus, and thank you all for joining in on this great campaign. And we are here. Is it Nelu is the name of the greenhouse, or the name of the person in the greenhouse?
It's the name of the hydroponicus union that grows all the food. So basically, at this point,
Okay.
all of the Nears and all of the Basil elves left in the city belong to this one organization that is based here.
I'm just gonna make something up here. I'm gonna say like, and Nelu has told us that they know where Tyrus is, and we are here to find him. So everyone, Nelu, bring out Tyrus.
The actual clue two of you got, by the way, is Kest. Kest is the name of the specific Basil elf who.
Oh, right.
That's right.
An unclear relationship, but had some close relationship with over the 1 week that he was in the city. So yes, they all look around confusedly and look at the translating box and look at each other and say things in Nirsanel, and then they say things in Hoblin, and the box translates only the latter. And basically it says, we do not know where Tyrus is. We did not do anything with Tyrus. We don't know anything about Tyrus. Please leave the greenhouse. Peace be unto you.
Trying to decide if I wanted to go further with this or not.
How are the Stokers responding?
The Stokers look at Reese and are clearly they're like they explain rapidly and clearly in Koblin. It's translated by Edelweiss Lipsbox. One of two things happens: either you produce Tyrus and they can make Pyralis whole, or you are being sacrificed to Pyralis.
Tyrus is inside, everybody, let's go!
Oh shit! Okay. You noticed as you've been speaking, more and more Stokers and more Sharps have joined, and more of the civilians have like gone to the edges, and so you basically have now caused something to happen, which is really a skirmish. I mean, dozens and dozens of some sort of religious sect of Koblins are breaking past the Nelu Hydroponesis, who are fighting them. They are now fighting each other. They're trying to get into the greenhouse, and they are carrying fire, and they might destroy the basis of their entire city's ability to feed itself and avoid famine. So that is like actually happening before your eyes, and you're all being swept along with the Stokers.
Live streaming the whole thing.
No one can watch.
What the fuck's Dekaj doing?
Dekaj is trying to stop this, I think, but is probably shouted down or like just swept along as well. I mean, I don't think she can stop it now that it's in motion with just yelling, "Wait!" She's probably yelling for Kest. She probably is trying to pursue the one lead you have.
Out of character, I'm really, really sorry. This got out of hand. But in character, this is amazing.
I think Edelweiss is like looking at Eek and is like, Eek, perhaps you can do something to rectify this situation.
Okay. I basically freaking out, like, ooh, a lot of people. Who am I facing? Like,
Well, you're in a group of koblins going up a hill through a line of basil elves into a large greenhouse structure on the hill. It's like a greenhouse with some attached other buildings that people live in, and they all have torches and they're like smashing stuff and there's kind of a riot happening. They're looking for Tyrus, who Reese has just told them is definitely in the greenhouse. So you can do anything if you wanted. Probably one of the more effective things would be like taking control of the mind of the leader of the Stokers is probably one of the only ways you could like immediately, stop this, if that's where you're going.
Yeah. I'm just gonna hold on one sec. Poor honey. You burn progress, and then you will tell that person to do what you want.
Okay.
But hold on. An additional progress and roll charm. The target will roll D will you if you win. How do I do this one? I burn just progress, or
Yeah,
I
you
have to
burn
turn
for grit,
for.
but you have to make a charm check against. So if you're going against the leader, you know the
Oh,
leader has pretty high will. So he's gonna roll
okay.
will, and you roll charm. If you win, if you get a tie or you win, then you can basically make him do any one thing, and you know, it's his own fault. He just does it. He can't like later decide not to do it or
Alright. I'm gonna roll charm now.
okay. You got it.
Come on.
You did not get a burning
Damn, we are
grit.
both rolling so awfully.
Well, let's see if I get a one or a two.
One.
I got a 9.
Ugh.
The leader, I forget how it's worded, but I don't know that the leader would know what was happening since the health science does not exist on this planet. But the leader maybe just feels like weird and definitely does not call off. Definitely feels this is a sign, and is sort of praying to Pyralis to connect make you whole again. Let's get you feeling good. And is all they're all rushing the greenhouse. They are threatening to burn down the greenhouse if Tyrus is not brought forth. Do you all, you all are kind of being pushed along with them. What do you want to do as this is happening?
Hmm. What is
I'm
one lie that I could tell them to turn this into something else?
I feel like the situation is beyond persuasion.
No, I
Uh,
can't just make people believe bullshit.
You you could use any of these powers effectively. They're not right now. They are waiting on the elves to produce Tyrus. The elves all seem confused, um, except maybe at this point you would notice. So if you follow them in, so you go up this winding pathway past some outbuildings and some gardens that are all sort of potted. They're all like in little cement or a lot of like wooden planters held together now with iron hoops, and a lot of stuff is hanging. Maybe even some stuff at this point is hanging by a small leathery balloon filled with some sort of violet fog that is slowly escaping and has to be replenished. And you go up toward the main structure, and you can see below are these little circular windows, and that there's sort of areas where the elves clearly live. And inside is this great greenhouse on top. It's very very large. It's like almost it's as big you realize as the flying pig. It's just a very different dimension. It's flatter and goes back further off the edge of the city, off this cliff. They've extended it, like whatever it was originally on top of the hill. They've just made it bigger. And as you get there, you see a couple of people run inside, and they're all speaking in your Sinel, and you have no idea what they're saying. And then they bring out, as the Stokers arrive at the front door, basically, they bring out a young Near Sinel person who's very, like looks sort of beautiful by human and Basil elf standards, and they have different robes. They look sort of lower level, lower rank than these leaders who came out to greet the Hoblin mass. And they sort of thrust her forward, and everyone kind of turns to her, and they say, where is Tyrus? Everyone's demanding the same thing, and she breaks down and says, I really don't know. Um, all I know is actually I don't know that you would know what she's saying. She's saying in your Sinel. maybe one of the Hoplins near you translates and your box translates, is that he was supposed to meet me, and he didn't come and meet me, and I never saw him again. This was a couple nights ago, and then his friend left in a hurry, and she seems to be crying, and is sort of collapsing in front of like this mob. What do you all do? Does anyone do anything at this juncture?
I think I would motion. The voice box is with
Edelweiss, I think.
I think I
Edelweiss. Yep.
saw it. Yep.
Alright, I would motion you over with the voice box and address the leader of the Hoblin mob and say, "This is clearly Tyrus's doing to get us away from where he was actually going. This is bullshit. We've been played like fiddles. Maybe he wanted the conflicts to be here. And I'm going to burn some grit and I'm going to make them believe my bullshit."
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's immediately disprovable, and since they dislike this guy so much, what I'm convincing them as is, for some unknown reason, Tyrus wanted them to storm this place and to start a mess, and if they go along with it, they are doing what Tyrus wants them to do. And I'm burning for grit.
Do it.
I feel like I'm getting like a really weird, creepy understanding of like fascist propaganda. Like as someone who is currently creating it.
It's all happening very fast.
Yeah.
They turn
You have been played.
They turn to Derek. They're looking at the sounds from the lips box. They're looking at Derek, and they turn back and they say, "You are probably correct. We should ask the tenders. We should return to the tenders of Pyralis, and we should not be here threatening the Hydroponicist Union unnecessarily. A good night to you. Stokers, return to the underworks." And they dissipate in search of how they have been played, although they seem pretty keen on keeping Risi around as a kind of bargaining chip. They believe they've just kind of earned that right, that Risi is part of who has played them, and they may not really, see you all as one party necessarily. So they
So am I going with them?
they're trying to drag you away. Yeah.
I kind of think I would probably go with them because I think that they would I would see them as like my fans. I don't know, like how aggressive are they being? Are they like overtly threatening me, or is it just like they're trying to get me to go with?
Poking you with the metal spear, and yeah, I mean they're pretty violent about it, but you know what I mean. Not like trying to hurt you, just trying to make you do what they want.
Yeah. I keep thinking like my will is a D4, so like reading through subtext and things or resisting stuff isn't my strong suit.
What is everyone else doing as you're left with essentially the puzzle elves who are gathering around? They're kind of like restoring a couple, potters, planters that had been tipped over. They're just kind of picking up. Nothing too bad happened. Kest is very like, almost over the top. Like they're just not saying anything. They're just kind of sobbing and want to go back inside. And the elders are kind of suggesting a walk in the stars atop the greenhouse. They're all speaking. You barely understand it, I guess, but
I'm going to use command on the whichever one is closest to me, and I'm just going to say like going out without me. I'll catch up with you in a little bit. I have to take care of some things here.
Circle back.
You command your own party to go on without you. That's what you're saying?
No. The
Oh, the
The
Stokers.
Stokers. Yeah,
Oh,
Quinn the
that makes
Stokers.
sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they whoever is like holding you or like has a spear to you
Mhm.
kind of lets you go. The others though, I'm going to give a chance to kind of notice that vibe and they kind of don't. They sort of notice something's a little weird, but I guess they figure the guard who was poking you would know what's happening. So,
Mhm.
you kind of give them the slip. You know, again, maybe there's
Yeah.
a ducking behind a barrel or a cart full of cantaloupes or something and they pass and you're free to go back to the greenhouse.
So at the greenhouse, there's only battle elves.
There are some of the sharps have like come forward and are looking around and maybe like poking stuff, but they don't really do much. They just make sure, you know, it doesn't seem like anything kind of happened. They need to weigh in on, so they eventually leave. And yeah, eventually it's just you and the Basil elves. The Basil elves are very curious. They recognize you speak the same language as Tyrus, and they speak in Hoblin, and maybe they know a couple words of Spin that they learned this week. Those words are
Okay.
probably the things you teach your friends, like you know,
Bathroom.
delicious. Yeah, bath. They
Um,
say delicious bathroom, superb, delicious bathroom to you. Um,
well, if they speak some Copeland, then we can use the translator then, right?
yeah. They speak Hoblin. So
Okay.
after saying supreme delicious bathroom, they ask like, why is it you are here for Tyrus?
Yes, we are. Apologies for the disturbance, but we are in urgent search of Tyrus. Yes, indeed.
Well, as long as Reese is not there yet, right? So they seem to take pity on the rest of you, as you know you were clearly caught by this mob. Why did your compatriot believe that somehow we would have Tyrus?
Max, their body's not used to the things you grow in here. She ate some food and she got a little nuts.
At that point, Reese returns and says, like, wow, that was exciting.
Hey,
The
adult behavior.
the Hydro Druids definitely sort of, you know, immediately tense up and they check their weapons. They maybe are, you know, getting ready to like maybe have to do a thing. And you know it's a little awkward. It's like it's a few of you talking at the entrance to this great building. One person's weeping, and then Reese's kind of walking up, smiling.
I take a picture of them.
Oh my god.
Not like a selfie, just like a picture of the scene. Yeah.
They're offended, and they wish you to take your gizmo that they don't understand, and you know go back to the flying pig. You do not need to be here if you have no interest in the vitality of things.
I turn to Reese and I'm like, Reese, you mind if I have a word with you in private?
Yes. And again, out of character, I'm so embarrassed. Like,
I just
You mind
kind
if
of
I use the box?
Do you request the
say,
box?
Like if you guys are having a conversation that they are not supposed to understand, maybe I grab the box and get a
yeah,
little
that'd be
ways off
good.
from
Yeah,
you,
hand
and then
off the
we can have
box.
conversations in parallel. But you guys first.
yeah.
So I hand off the box and I just kind of pace around the corner and all due respect, Miss Factor, I do believe that some of your actions a moment ago might have misled our friends, the Battle Elves, who seem to be our only lead, into thinking that we wish them harm in a very totalitarian fashion. Um, it may behoove us for you to clarify that we mean them no harm and that there was a misunderstanding, perhaps a language barrier.
That's a great idea.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Let's do that. Hopefully
Let's-
this time I don't roll a 1 on my charm roll.
Oh boy.
You're gonna go back to the hydroponicist and try to kind of smooth things over with them and
Yeah. I feel like I need to
Can I
see on
have
this.
Yeah.
Can I complete a bit of groundwork to try to prepare for when you return and try to smooth it over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In much the same vein of saying that there was a misunderstanding, my friend wasn't feeling the best, and this was a mistake. And we mean you no harm. I even got them to go away. You saw. I talk. They leave. See?
Yeah.
Just talk. How Tyrus pissed them off?
You're asking the elves how Tyrus pissed them off?
É, porque eles estão claramente furioso. I'm sorry, I wasn't intending to Portuguese. My gaming group is bilingual and this sort of stuff kind of happens. It's mostly English and then suddenly a Portuguese happens.
No, I'm speaking
Well,
English.
they're furious. So the idea is, why they even want Tyrus? They were very angry at this specific person, and they heard us mention the name, and this whole thing happened.
Oh, the Stokers. You're wondering about the Koblins who are involved with Pyralis's tending. Not that she needs tending. Um, they seem to think that somehow you, I suppose, you are from the same place as Tyrus, the other Grukjit, we were told. That you were able to extract from Pyralis some of her vitality. And the translation is a little poetic and difficult, but you understand, yes, that somehow something was taken from her, and that's of course dangerous for all of us at this point. So, if that's even true, it may not be possible. The tenders, you understand, the Stokers leaders are they're zealots, to put it frankly.
I think probably at this point, me and Reese come back.
I'm going to say something along the lines of like this is a fantastic greenhouse you have here, and I love all the things you're growing. This is incredible. I don't know what happened there. I think there was a miscommunication. We just got this lips box today, and it's been kind of screwy. The Stokers were saying things like fish and 35 and choir seat and ham sing. And yeah, so it looks like everything turned out okay. Sorry about your friend here. She seems upset. And I think something just got lost in translation. So
Sure.
and I'm gonna burn 3 grit on this roll.
You're rolling a charm. Okay, yeah,
Yes.
they believe you.
Finally.
Everyone who's not you can roll will to perceive. Oh, they got an natural one, so they actually feel really bad for you now, and they're like, "It's okay." The tenders are not evil; they are drunks. They are crazy drunks, and they also are the closest physically, at least, to Pyralis, who is, as far as we can tell, a sapient explosion, which is extremely dangerous to be near. So it is okay that sometimes you are swept up with them, and it is okay to recognize that your language may have meant something dangerous to us and the life of everyone in the city. But yeah, everyone should roll to. Sorry, not Aaron, but y'all should roll to perceive otherwise.
That's a will check?
Yes, that's will.
Alright.
Who's saying, I hear you, I see you. I feel like it's two people saying that.
I don't know that I could make that without burning a grit.
Well, you're distracted. You're talking with
Ooh.
the elder hydroponics. But Derek and Eek, you both notice that it seems like Kest both you think is maybe they're crying a little like too much, and they also are just like trying to get away, but in a way that's awkward from their rank. They should be here kind of to wait on the elders, but they are like clearly doing a shuffle away. So there's something suspicious about Kest.
Can I use peering again to know why cry too much?
Yep.
Ooh.
Do you mock her with your deep voice or a growl growly voice. Do you know what I mean, Gay? Because you're a bear, but you have a guinea pig head. So what do you sound like when you speak?
You know,
Okay.
small voice.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So use Piran. Yeah.
Then D12. 3 minutes.
D12
Like
plus 3.
3.
So you burn 7 grit. So you concentrate really hard as you notice Kest's weeping. You can hear their thoughts, and they're basically thinking that they really are worried. Top line, they're just incredibly worried about Tyrus, and they just want to. They kind of hate this job, and they hate having to like pretend to care about the elders, and they think this whole thing is like the whole city. Like they're having a very political train of thought about how the whole city is fucked. Because of the food base that the Hoblands have never like quite sorted out. But deeper under there, they're trying to get back to their bungalow, like kind of beneath and around the back of the greenhouse, to get something very specific and move it before the Hoblands come back. And they're picturing like a specific like sack, basically, with about that big. And they're just like basically about to bolt, like run away.
Do I see them about to run away?
No,
No. Okay, I'm still talking with.
Yeah. You and Adelbert are like talking with the elders, but Dira can
Okay.
if you want, you can. Do you want to follow them or?
I think that would be a good thing for me to do. Do we have a means of communicating over a business? We didn't do the thing, I think, which was getting walkies.
No.
You wouldn't need walkies if you didn't buy walkies. You could go back and get the box real fast, the lift box from Edelvi, and then leave them.
No, you have the voice. Or wait.
Well, like,
No, maybe it changed hands again, but
You should.
last we switched it so that Derek had the voicelet box.
yeah, but it's perfectly easy to just leave it with whoever's doing
Yeah, that's true.
the two of you as you do the talking, and anyone else in here sneaky, because I think it would be good to see where this one is going.
I think it's all you.
That's your thing.
I mean, I am a little sneaky, but that's really not how I roll typically. So you go for it. That's your thing.
All right. Well, movement, and I really don't want to get caught, so I'm burning 6 grit in this. Don't be a 1.
Yeah, you are extremely sneaky. Kesta is pretty fast, and turns and sort of looks, but you perfectly hide behind a plant that happens to be shaped a little like you if you put your arms out. And then you hide behind a big rock, and you just kind of maybe tack back and forth around the path that cuts underneath the stairs up to greenhouse, and then wraps around the western side of the greenhouse. So not where it falls off into nothing, but where it eases back into the rest of Grukjijit. And in the back are the bungalows of the apprentice Hydra Druids. And you follow Kest to theirs. And they open the door, they look, they don't see you. You're like right there. You turn sideways. And they go inside. And you can do, what do you want to do? They're going inside. They're clearly about to they're like rummaging around their apartment basically. It's like a one room.
Any
Yeah.
windows, chimney, any way for me to peer in?
Yeah. You
to look in the place.
The window. You want to just watch for now, or?
I want to see what they're getting. I want to see if I don't know exactly what they're doing. They could very well be meeting Tyrus, so I just want to look in there and see what they're doing.
They get out a sack that is pretty big, and it has something in it, and it's pretty much like it's something heavy that's about this big, in like a big leather sack, and they make sure
Cylindrical?
it's tight. Yeah, it looks like it could be. It's in the bottom. Yeah, and they kind of maybe it has like one strap, and they are leaving. I mean, they're about to rush right out and lock the door and rush down the street. Like leave this compound.
kind of complicated to take that thing without them noticing.
It would be hard to do without them noticing it's gone, but I mean, you are a thief, so.
Let me have a look at the thing.
Though it may not be the end of the world if they do notice at this point.
Yeah, because that's clearly something they can't go to other people for help about. They're hiding it. And if push comes to shove, I can vanish. So yeah, let's go. I'm burning 1d8 grit and stealing stuff.
Great. Roll movement. After you roll the
But
cost, yeah.
burn the grit.
1 grit.
Nice.
You're very calm, you know what I mean? Like, you've done this before.
Yep.
May nearby him, nearby Derek.
It's up to, unless you want to roll to sneak, you are not. But if you want to roll to sneak, oh, dang.
Woohoo!
Wunderbar.
So how do you describe what
Let's
you've
go.
done? How do you steal this thing?
I am going to get close to them, and what's the way this is going to be noticed is suddenly the thing that they're carrying over the shoulder is incredibly fucking light because it's not there. They have the rest of the thing. I just walk by, get ready the dagger, just dart with the thing clutched, and I'm going to duck and try to be sneaky again so they don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, man, you got a 15. I think you are so fast that it, and just like strike at exactly the right moment, that they're kind of just left like, you know, turn a couple times and are just like, what? How did that even happen? You know what I mean? Like, it's a backpack. Like, where is it? And they just can't find you. You're in the dark, you know, like right around the corner or whatever. But they don't see anything. So they're, you know, Kest is just like, you could. I mean, you probably can't see her, but maybe you hear like another sort of very genuine like short sob of just like, holy shit. And yeah, that I think everyone else, you know, you're still with the elder druids, you're having a conversation or whatever. Um, you know, Leo, what does Derek do next? You have clearly, if you really briefly look in the sack, it's a brushed metal capsule with a knob on the end. So clearly, what you were sent to get.
Is it the thing we came for?
Yes.
Alright, this is interesting. I am not going to emerge at all. The party isn't going to know where I am.
Okay.
Bit of a weird thing because this is intended as a one-off, but I'm thinking, would the person in my background have a use for this? Because we didn't discuss Glumak much.
Yeah, you know that Glumak would really, really want this, and would definitely not want you to give it to the Afdeling of the Void without, you know, like getting the bottom. You don't know what it is. You haven't figured that out, or like what is going on here at all. But it's definitely something, you know, yeah, Glumak would want.
All right. Okay. I am going to get the hell back to our Banshee.
Back to the center of the banking district, the core.
As quickly as I can without being noticed.
Great. You are you the only person I mean, this is not like a role thing, but who would notice you is Marganthank, who's an orphan who lives right around there, and who you know, eats for free at the Flying Pig and then goes back to basically harassing construction workers and stealing stuff. And probably only Marganthank sees you and just gives you like a hey guy, I stole stuff from earlier, who stole stuff from me, and then we chase each other. Like, look. And then you go down the tunnel. There might be a sharp or two guarding, but you just pass. You know, you sneak past them. You're at the end of the tunnel, in the light of in the very, very flickering, dull violet light of those little sort of burned down oil lamps. You see the shard spire, and you see laid out in front of it is a very much just asleep 7th ranter, and you know.
I I descend upon them and just wake the fuck up! Wake the fuck up, was a riot. Everybody wiped out.
Whoa!
Burning for grit light. Everybody wiped out. We gotta fuck off. The religious people are at something.
Whoa! Shit! Okay,
Do
chill,
the
chill, chill,
thing.
chill. You should chill. They touch the stone. I'll even make them roll for it. And they uh, they disappear
Balls.
through the stone. They fall through the stone and are gone. The red steel, rather, of the shard. You know the
Oh
shard is
no.
open, but you don't know to where. You can't see how. You could walk
I
through
don't
there.
know to where, but I don't have a pilot to try it. I don't think there is another Banshee. So I'm like, if
You
it's
don't
a place where
know.
communications can be had, there's a problem. There's a problem. It is tacking a weird power.
No, it is not considered weird.
Can do you have it on hand how much it costs? Because I can imitate.
Ooh, yes. I mean, it's by Stiffworks. In this case, I'm gonna. It's just let's go with the generic. It's a late Tefnian Stiffworks, so I'm just gonna say whatever it says in the book is what it costs.
I
It
don't think I have
is
the grit. Oh no. I think
12
those are
grit,
expensive.
12 grit, and a
12.
reason check.
Well, that's a problem. Because I would have to spend like 4 times that. That's more than my total grit.
Yeah.
You can burn through health if you have a ton of health, but
Hmm.
Would Derek know that something is wrong? Right? Because the banshee just
That's a
walked
good
through.
question, actually. Would I know that the person just fell into the void? I guess.
um, yeah, roll. I mean, I think you would get a sense of it, but maybe roll will to perceive. If you get a 5 or higher, you have a real strong sense that something something
All
is
right.
off. And otherwise, I
Y'all,
guess you think Seven Lake
y'all
Rancher is
just
completely
watch
weird.
me lose the MacGuffin. Will. Uh,
Great. Yeah, you're pretty sure Seven Lake Rancher fell. Like, did not crawl. Did not jump through in a graceful way, but like did a whoopsie and just disappeared. What is everyone else doing while Derek tries to decide what to do at the open but mistacked shard spire beneath Grukjit?
I guess the question is how long, how many minutes does it take for all of that to transpire?
It's half an hour probably. I mean, probably Derek had to run
Yeah,
across the city, right? So
I don't know. As I don't know about everyone else, but Edelweiss sort of comes to after several minutes of just kind of like small talk. It's like, wait a second, what's going on? Where? I turn to Eek and like, where is our friend, our little Gelasty friend?
Oh, he's gone.
People just keep disappearing around here. I know just the people we can talk to help find him. No, in all seriousness, I think what I would probably suggest is like breaking some bread with our new friends if people wanted to sit and eat for a while. But that would be like an hour, the feed power. But maybe we don't need to do that though.
Should we try to find our friend?
Yeah, we really wouldn't have any way to like track them.
I know at this point it's like now we have two missing reminders. I think Edelweiss is just like deferring to our factor.
Well, maybe we all should have decided on a rendezvous point. I think the one that I would expect is to at least check in at the Stiff Works, or if not there, then the Flying Pig. Um, I mean, like out in character, like we have no way of knowing where Derek went.
All right.
Yeah.
You go back to the Shard Spire eventually. Like maybe Dirk has a big lead, but you're just gonna go there to check in with Seven Lake Tender or Seven Lake Ranter rather, who of course is not there, but you don't know that. And in that case, we'll just turn it back to Leo. What, Dirk? In the 10 minutes, um, what do you do? Do you just sit in despair? Do you go through? What's your
I'm thinking,
plan?
would I have any reason to think one of our group could be able to open this thing?
You're pretty sure not.
Could I roll anything, maybe a reason to try to think how could we possibly better our chances of getting back in on spin? I'm
Sure, roll
thinking if
reason. Yeah.
were there other. Oh no, Tyrus is a sticky fingered one, so I wouldn't assume them to be a banshee. Well, let's go. I am crappy at reason.
I mean, you don't have your atomic force microscope and maybe it looks like a stethoscope. Like however you interact with nanites, if you're a banshee, you are just a person in front of a red steel thing. You don't really have any idea what's happening here. Clearly, Seven Lake Ranter turned it on and is gone.
I, having realized that the thing didn't go where I wanted the thing to go, I returned to our hotel room, which I had the keys to, and I will wait for the party there.
Okay.
Because I got what we were looking for.
Great.
Change your plans.
The party eventually.
We arrive.
Yeah, they eventually.
Probably we arrive at the Stiffworks around.
Actually, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna, and then I think we need to probably wrap up in terms of time.
Mm-hmm.
But 6, you come back, and out of the Stiffworks as it's closing is Seven Lake Ranter. Seven Lake Ranter has just come back to Grook somehow. Seven Lake Ranter looks terrified. They maybe have scars. They have like they're like oozing something. They're like removing kind of a webbing. And they look at you and shudder and say, "Okay, I fucked that up. First to admit." Where did Derek go? Derek was just here. Wait, I thought you all died. Derek said you all died.
Wait, what?
Oh no.
You have a hotel room?
Obviously, we didn't die.
Well, let's go. Can I go take a nap? I just was somewhere else that there were more kinds of ways to move than just up, down, left, right, sideways.
Do you need I'm not sure how you would ask this in character, but do you need grit? Like, do you need thinky boost? I have thinky boost.
Yeah, they'll take a thinky boost, sure. Thanks.
Just one or two or how many?
I'll take the lot.
I have a lot of them. You want two?
They take 3.
Okay. 3? Okay.
And then do you and they also gain void madness as they take one more than their limit.
Seems appropriate.
They become like very just generally just terrified, and they're just kind of catatonically following you around, kind of trying to hunker down and not be like a 7-foot tall Wada, but just like a Wada that's hiding behind a bear. But probably not as effectively as Derek did. Do you all go back to your hotel room?
Logical spot, right?
Yeah.
So we arrive. Is the door? I don't know. The door's closed or locked or whatever, but.
Yeah, I mean, Derek, are you just in there hanging out, sleeping, waiting?
Definitely not sleeping, but I also want to play it like I was waiting for them in here. So I hear a knock, I'm gonna go, "Who's there?"
Light opens the door without answering.
I didn't move the key in there. I'm waiting.
I mean, I guess Eonfai answers then. It is your comrades.
Ah, thank God. Shit got hairy. Open.
So we all died, didn't we?
Here, come on, open up. Let's go in.
Yeah. Are y'all good? Move
Found
to
the object.
confirm the presence of the others.
You're all together in the room if you want to be. If you doors
Yes.
open.
It was weird. I had to grab a thing, and there was a fight. There were some guys in there, and I bolted. I panicked. I wanted to get the fuck off. They all sent me. Weird dudes. More from Spin.
It seems that we have what we came for.
Ah, this thing.
Okay, can we get out of here? Seven like Ranter like really just wants to go, and with the Thinky boost is just feeling like, let's just go right back. Let's just go right now. Let's just go.
Yeah. You went through the thing. I thought you were dead as well.
I thought I was too.
This is divine providence. All my friends still here.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know.
Edelvi gingerly takes the object.
There is a moment where you don't know if it's the fingers actually being sticky or me not wanting to give the thing over, but they just. We need to move. We need to move. We need to move. There's more of them. I don't know what the hell Cast is tangling with, but it's not good. Lemon tires.
I shoulder the item and gesture out the door.
As you're all leaving, Dekaj comes running up the stairs and says, whoa. What happened back there? That was crazy. You were trying to get the greenhouse burned down.
I just look at Reese.
Trying? Well, what we were trying to do was to make a huge crowd, and we did great at it.
Well, where's Tyrus? Did you find the answer? Is he alive?
I don't know. I would be surprised if they were. Cast was with some weird people in there, but I got what we came for. It wasn't Tyrus. If Tyrus don't have it, maybe they got Tyrus.
Wait, you got it or you didn't get? You got the thing you came for?
Yeah, I panicked and I ran away because the group that was with it almost got me.
Roll a 7 or higher to dodge as she slashes at you and tries to kind of grab you and get the sword to your throat.
With movement, right?
Yeah, movement. Great. You jump back. She slashes just slightly wide, and then she's in fighting mode and looks at all of you and says, you can't leave here with what Tyrus took.
I'm going to use command and tell her, that's not cool, put your weapons down.
She's, okay, I guess, even though we're in the middle of combat. She sheathes her sword and, looks at you sternly and says, we don't have to be enemies. I liked Tyrus a lot. I'm not lying to you. But whatever he took, even if it doesn't actually hurt Pyralis, if it makes all the goblins go crazy, then it hurts everybody in the city. You almost burned down the greenhouse. Just give it back.
I'm a factor, which makes me a company person, and my boss told me to bring this back. Internally, I'm reasoning through this. I'm going to have to say probably no.
I mean, up to you. You don't have to be a company person, right, Aaron? That's kind of the point of the game.
Yeah, I know that's like the point of the game is to find your revelation and rebel. But also, like, I'm making a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
Yeah. I think my character would probably toe the line here. And I'm not saying that all of you have to agree with me, and also I'm also very low on grit. But I think that my character would probably continue to toe the line until she's seen more like direct or real harm. Like nearly burning down a massive greenhouse that could spell the end of the city is like, I had a part in that. You know, it was fun. We had a good time. But I think that she would probably not want to abandon the mission because it's been very profitable for her for so far. And so she's gonna like would probably continue to be like co-friendly slash evil. God, I really like this character is really trying me.
Yeah. Great decompression session after.
Yeah.
I think so. Edelweiss holding it. Edelweiss feels more sympathetic when when hearing Kaj's argument. The spigot on one side of the container, correct?
Yeah, there's a way to it could, there's something that could connect to it to get
Yeah.
the liquid out of there. Otherwise the liquid's in there pretty, safe.
I propose a compromise. If we empty this entire thing of whatever's inside it, then the same result will occur if we took the whole thing. Perhaps we can take part of its contents and return the rest of it back to our refactor.
You're just gonna take an empty thing?
No. If I take out my water flask. If I were to transfer a little bit into my flask here, perhaps that could be enough to assuage the refactor and avoid a catastrophe. Because, and I appeal to Reese, a catastrophe either way could spell doom for trade relations.
I think that the specific charge for us was to bring back this object, right? They didn't say to bring back the contents.
You wanna... What was that, Kay?
They said both the object with the water inside.
The special water.
Do you want
Why
to roll
don't we
reason to
take it
interpret?
up?
I think that acting in my own self-interest, I just want the money, and technically, I don't mind lying about it.
I mean, I'm all about that
So
too.
like, if I look the other way and you happen to do a swap out, I don't see it, then I don't actually have to lie about it on my report, right?
So Edelweiss is going to proceed to attempt to transfer some of its contents into its water flask.
Reese is going to be very interested with looking through some of the photos that she's taking today, which are fantastic.
I'm physically distancing myself from the opening of the mystery container, but also intently watching.
Okay. I mean, do you want to roll, I guess, reason or move, whatever's higher, to very, very carefully try to, get a little wrench and twist the thing, and then, move one liquid from one container to another without spilling any?
I'll use reason. I'm gonna boost it with 9. Barely used any grit so far. So that's gonna be D12 plus 10.
Whoa.
14.
Great. You very, very carefully transfer, or try to transfer, this, what you think is like a liquid, and it sort of behaves like oil. And as it falls, it is kind of releasing like violet, like little sparks. It's like changing the air. It smells like very acrid, and it sort of is a little nauseating. You get some in your water flask, and as soon as she sees what it is, Decage like steps back, and says, "Careful, careful, 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 careful." And she says that is extremely a lot. that's highly compressed. It's like it's pouring like Jello, like little droplets.
Oh, wow.
Um,
I take that into account. I do it, and I probably fill the flask, maybe a quarter of the way.
Okay.
And then respigot it.
Okay.
Fill the flask, and yeah.
Roll a d12.
Would I hand it over to?
It's up to you, but as this is so, you did it all safely. You don't blow up, but roll a d12 for how it reacts to the whatever the flask is made out of.
I was hoping I wouldn't have to.
It is highly reactive. Okay, great.
12.
Your flask, you have a real deal badass flask. And it is sample grade. It is archival sample grade flask.
The best.
So you now have a fourth of a water flask of concentrated, ultra concentrated Shelsinor, and you also have the other thing full of, pretty full of it also. What do you do with these two objects? The Decage is still like just stepping back, like away from a bomb.
So we need to return the original object to the Stokers, right? That belongs to them.
They seemed very concerned about something that was stolen from someone named Pyralis. I don't think you ever figured out anything more than that.
Okay. But we don't know where the Stokers. Just left it a room or something.
Decage can get it back to the Stokers, whatever you're giving back to them. She's
okay.
She knows everyone. She knows all the factions.
So that's what I was kind of wondering earlier. So Edelvi, motions to give Decage the item.
I mean, she takes it like it's a bomb and like very, very softly like sets it down. Like maybe gets a blanket very slowly and like sets it on the blanket like so it doesn't like go back and forth. And she says, "Where did you get this?"
Ask your friend Tyrus.
We don't know where Tyrus is. He wasn't at Nelu.
I suppose that is no longer a problem. Right, Lucy?
Sorry, I was responding to the Twitch chat.
Allow me to apologize to the chat for the loudness as well. I was thinking about what would my very, very cowardly salamander person be like, and that would be shouty.
No. That's our audio problem, not you at all, man. You're good.
I probably should have known this is a powerful microphone over here. Apologies, humans and otherwise.
Your audio is fine on Discord. It's just the translation into Twitch. It gets.
All right.
We'll work on it. Do we want to? We kind of need to end soon, like now-ish. Do you want to do last go round? What does everyone do? It seems like is there an agreement that you're going to return most of the ultra concentrated Shelsinor to the Stokers, and then you're going to take a archival grade canteen that's like a fourth full with it back to Spindle. Is that what you're doing?
That's what Edelvi proposes.
Yeah.
I am. Reese is wanting to adhere to like kind of monkey's paw this and like really adhere to the letter as specifically as possible, so we technically do it. And then in her factory report, she's going to focus a lot on the circumstantial stuff around it, and then just be like, "Oh yeah, we brought back the thing you wanted." And I'm just gonna assume that it's all of it because I wasn't watching you pour anything.
You did the ostrich technique. You just literally didn't look as a
Yeah.
off of it. Okay.
I see nothing.
But you're returning the bigger flask and keeping the smaller one. Is that correct?
Edelvi? Yes, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to do anything else, or do we want to wrap this up and say, if we want, we could always pick this up next time. You can just leave Grikjit now.
I mean, I think Edelweiss is satisfied.
Okay.
Whatever that's worth.
Also, Dirk said you were all dead pretty clearly, but next time also.
And if anybody wants to force me to roll to bullshit, I will roll to bullshit.
Right, or con someone.
I'm willing to bullshit.
Could read someone's mind, but yeah, I guess we could pick this up if we did want to play this good. Otherwise, you kind of, you know, complete the venture. I guess you can, you know, it's up to you, right? You report in on the venture, and you all would get paid, and you all lived from your crazy what is it, 12 hours or so in Group G.
There is the report to the refactor, and then there is my report to Glumac about a sentient explosion, who is a big source of that stuff that we didn't actually bring.
Right. Well, you brought a little bit, right? You were. I mean.
Yeah. Names and stuff, but basically didn't manage to bring the thing, but I know how to get more.
Well, with that, I want to thank you all for playing. So thanks a lot, Leo, Jedd, Gay, and Aaron. And thank you a lot to Will Savino and Burrowbound. We're, again, using the Grujit setting that was posted this month and that we like because it's, you know, whatever, flying goblins in a diesel punk city. And yeah, thanks to players for just not asking core questions about the setting or what's going on at all. But having a really good time.
From the Twitch chat, it looks like we really missed some pretty important key details.
It's great. It's great. If you want to do this again, let us know. If people watching want us to do it again, let us know. We'll post this on YouTube. We'll cut out the first 10 minutes of the audio issues. And yeah, we'll work on audio next time. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Really appreciate everyone playing and watching. Have a good night.
Cheers.